Good morning, my fellow exiles, if you are somehow in America and awake right now. In today's live stream, we are going to have the 5th Pod of Exile with Sirgog, Dreamcore, and Lolcohol, all about 0.3, the Third Edict. And that's right. We gotta hype ourselves up, because it is 5 a.m. my time. I have 2 daughters who get up constantly throughout the night, so I am exhausted. If you somehow find yourself in the chat right now, wow, especially if you're American. If you're European, Asia, anywhere else, okay, good work. Hope it's nice, afternoon, right at noon for some of you. Maybe you're in Australia, maybe you're a New Zealander. Going on? Hey Gamer Nemi, hey Palisus. Drop the like on YouTube for you. Excellent. We got 59 minutes to hype ourselves up for the Pod of Exile. This is who we got. Got Dreamcore, Lolcohol, and Sirgog. And me. We have me too. The Fool and the Facilitator. That's right. We have a new little screen here too. Look at that. Oh yeah. For viewing all the cool stuff coming to Path of Exile too. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, everybody. Make sure guys, if you're watching on Twitch, you follow on Twitch. Look at that little overlay. Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool, isn't it? And then if you're on YouTube, you're watching the VOD, you're live right now, make sure you subscribe, like the video, turn on the sub notification bell. I didn't do that fast enough. Hope you guys are all doing well today. What's going on? Oh my god, you got chat is popping. Holy crap. What's going on UNCUT? Hey Leader Lee. Hey Shinigami. Misery. I'm miserable right now. You're in Australia. Great. Hey Dirty Rat Life. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well with you and the family. We're doing great. We're doing great, dude. 5 p.m. where you are, John Knight. Hope you're doing well too, Dirty Rat Life. Ugh. Massively positive about 0.3. I am too. I posted something on YouTube last night. We're going to go over that in just a minute. I asked YouTube, biggest audience so far in the Talkative Tribe community, W or L. And we're going to read through all the comments in a moment. No way Sirgog is joining me. Yes, he is. Yes, Sirgog is. Sirgog is 100% joining me. He's joined me 4 times, 5 times already. Oh, I'm having chat disappear. Do I want that? I don't know if I want to have chat disappear. Why is chat disappearing? That's interesting. Did I edit something? I'll put on always show messages. There we go. That was weird. Okay. Here we go. Talamoana, Dakrog, what's going on, dude? Hey, Lone Legionnaire. What the live at this time? So, let me explain to you guys why I'm live at this time. I am live at this time to accommodate for my co-host schedules. I took the hit because I'm in the US, Dreamcore is in the UK, Lolcohol is in South Africa, and Sirgog is in Australia. I took the hit, you know? Sometimes you just gotta take the hit and you hype yourselves up at this unseemly hour with some Une di Atamir. Did I say that right? We got any French people in the audience? I'm really bad at this. Hey, Guitar Holic, what's going on, bro? If nothing changed with Towers by release, I doubt the game will hold 2 weeks in. Haiti? This update, nothing has changed with Towers, it seems. 0.4, though, as you'll see in the video that I'm going to release tomorrow, they're going all in on Endgame. Just as 0.3 was a huge rebalance of existing skills, 0.4 is going to be a big endgame address. Oh, dude, that's a hell of a podcast. Thank you, Leader Lee. This is what all the foreigners feel like when they participate in announcement streams. That is correct. Yep. What's my secret? I have no secret. I haven't even had my energy drink yet. Which, by the way, I avoid all of the crap getting my teeth by sticking this down my throat and just slurping. So my teeth don't get broken down. Have I decided on a league starter? No. I'm probably going to do that on stream, and I'm probably going to put out a build concept video. It's good. Riker is so funny. Riker just said, "Welcome to the gun show." I just stretched like this, and I like flexed. I didn't even like try to actually flex. And I guess my welcome post is a little bit flexy. How am I doing, Jocks? A lot. I'm doing well. I'm a little tired. That's all right. The new update made me decide to give PoE2 a try, and I bought Yay, hoping it's gonna be great. Hell yeah, Jerry Mango. It's good. I hope you enjoy it, my man. I've quite enjoyed it up to this point, especially 0.1. I'm hoping 0.3 is a banger. Seems to be. Hey, Henry Hockey, Africa repping. Let's go. 11 in the morning here. W overall. Stacked lineup. I try. First time watching live. Love your positive take, dude. When I'm having a bad day, it always helps. Thank you, Gary Kisher. 100%. See, I can even be positive at this terrible hour. Oh God. The legend Sirgog. Sirgog is the first content creator I ever watched, you guys. So this is lovely. Oh, we got the guitar solo, and not solo. We got the guitar going, the violin. Oh. Oof, this is waking me up. This is waking me up. This is good. I hope it's waking you all up too. By the way, thank you, Sandfall Interactive, for not copyright striking any of my videos, so I can use Expedition 33's goated soundtrack in everything. I probably couldn't get away with playing Una Via Tamir in my news videos because people would just be blasting and they would not be listening to the news at all. But during a live stream, guys, especially when I'm trying to wake myself up, oh, I can blast this one, right? Sirgog is Australian. Yes, he does. The pod starts at 6 a.m. Eastern, so on the hour. It starts on the hour. I just needed to get up and hype myself up a little bit. Okay. All right. It is an international pod. Yep. All gamers in the world should move to the same country. Leo with the absolutely genius take here. Wait, phrasing. Sorry, I'm way behind on chat. How does this happen every time? You guys just chat so much. 5 a.m. stream. Yep. 0.3 looks to be about fixing the biggest problems with progression, cruel, and crafting. Hopefully 0.4 will be about endgame. Yep. It's 5 a.m. for me. Shave, please. I didn't shave today, guys. I have been like just trimming down. My wife likes having kind of a thin beard. If that's the proper terminology to describe it. Oh, guys. Okay. I've been thinking. I'm going to try to make... I've been making my own builds. But for 0.3, hear me out. Hollow palm technique ritualist. Big stats, big damage on rings. You got the triple ring going. I think you got the triple ring going on. Oh, yeah. Ritualist. Everybody's talking about Invoker. How about Ritualist? I was even looking at Deadeye last night. Look at me. I'm looking at builds because Unarmed look like so much fun. What if you... Because Tailwind still works. You just need to not get hit. But if you're stacking Evasion Deadeye Hollow Palm technique. Ultra fast attacks. You're just blowing crap up before it touches you. Zoom it. Oh. I think it might be good. Dad hours? Yeah. Oh, you have time to get lunch and a shower before. Yep, the pod starts on the hour. Pod starts on the hour. I'm just hyping myself up. What's my secret? I don't have coffee. No. I have an energy drink, which I will consume momentarily. I haven't even had anything yet, dude.
Hold on to your butts.
Holy crap. Thank you for the, I want to say the North Korean $25, but there's no way that's accurate. The knock $25. What tier you think Warrior will be in 0.3? Okay, this is speculation. Let me get on a new song here. Let me get on a chill song. All right. There we go, dudes. Everyone is writing off Warrior. I say, let us see the notables. Let us see the new tiers of support gems. Let us see the lineage supports and see how rare they are. I think the new notables and clusters are going to be giga broken. It's 500 new passives, 150 plus new notables that we haven't seen yet, and everybody's making all the decisions. But from what we've seen, the notables are actually pretty strong. So, you can't make a final decision on the tier on Warrior. I know, you know, the very smart people like Jungrown are already writing off the Warrior. I saw the meme on Twitter about him and the Chinese are in agreement, you know, how Warrior, don't play Warrior. But I think it's too fast to write anything off, honestly. Okay. All right. She doesn't want me looking like a little boy. Yeah. She likes the beard now. She doesn't want it to be too long, but she likes it. Unchained Ninja Bro. I've seen you follow me on Twitter forever, liking my posts. You just followed me on Twitch. Thanks for the follow, Unchained Ninja. Okay. Ritualist Strong, not going chonk? I don't think so, but I might. Ranger is strongest class. I didn't consider the 3 things for Ritualist. I make a good point. Philia Halls, bro. Bro, did you just say I made a good build point? Oh, I feel like a genius right now. Holy crap. Holy crap. A lot of talk about Deadeye. Too many sleep on Ritualist, Blood Mage, Invoker. Monk is overrated for unarmed. Dude. Bro, I actually agree. Are we going to fight expedition bosses now that he's not inside the logbooks? There's going to be splinters. So Olroth will actually be deterministic instead of random. I'm too full of hope, try? What? No. Okay, guys. Dudes. I know that I'm the GGG shill. I know that I am the toxic positive man. But I before the interview started, right, with Jonathan, I got to talk with him a little bit. I could probably tell the story of that right now, just in a moment. But I talked with Jonathan a little bit, just one-on-one, before I started recording. They basically just really, I mean, he told what they did. They sat down and they solved as many problems as they feasibly could. Guys, I've talked to GGG devs. They went hard on this. And by going hard, I think a lot of them worked over. They put in a ton of effort to get Cruel out of here, to make all these character changes. Like, they ground, okay? They grinded, whatever. They put in a ton of effort. And Jonathan and Mark, they all, as the leaders of the company, they really care. I saw a lot of comments on my video yesterday saying how, oh, they're just reverting back to Chris Wilson's vision and it's obvious Jonathan doesn't know what he's doing. No, guys, they tried lots of new things and they're honestly still trying new things. They just think these new things will solve the problems people had with the now old things that were new, right? They're not, a lot of people are like, oh, they're reverting back to PoE 1. With the support gems, yes, right? But they're also adding in the lineage supports. Now they have the tiers of support gems, which are basically awakened gems of the past. People were saying my question about where lineage gems came from was a stupid question. And they're saying, obviously they're awakened gems. Lineage gems are in no way awakened gems. Multi-tier gems are awakened gems. Lineage supports are not awakened in any way. Way different. Limit of 1 per character. They do way different things than any original skill. Awakened is just the higher tier supports that are now in the game. People, come on. Now I'm doing stupid crap that Shane Gillis does. Oh God, Jesus. Everybody's gonna be like, who the hell is Shane Gillis? Fry is crashing out right now. Are we getting Act 4 and 5 in December, you think? No, I think we're gonna get Act 5 in, my guess is Act 5 in March. Act 6 comes with full launch. My new prediction for full launch is August 2026 or the December 2026. Hi, Try, can you please talk about the Waystone change? Yes. Wait. Hi, Try, can you talk about the Waystone change? To them, it had so much more flexibility, and it's so bad they changed that, and no one complained about them. Dylan, I don't know what you mean, man. Now, the new way is bad, you're saying, Dylan? Wow, I need to scroll down. Thank you all so many for the comments. Okay. An internet full of kids, Try. It's nice to know there's an adult out there. I appreciate that. I don't know, dudes. I don't see myself as toxically positive, but holy shit, there is... Sorry for swearing, by the way. I try not to ever swear. There is a large swath of the community that hates my guts, all right? And does not wish me well. Ugh. It's funny. Okay, let's see. Put in a ton of work. How to progress Ritual Atlas now? We don't know yet. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I don't mean the toxic positive shield angle. I just think they kind of just gimp Warrior a lot for not a lot of reason. I'm just saying, you might be right. You might be 100% right on gimping Warrior. We don't have the full picture yet. That's all I'm saying. There might be a ton of very powerful new support gems in the game. The noodle. Let's call them the Noodables. The Noodables might make a significant impact. We're just not aware. You might be right. Warrior might be terrible. Lots of people said Warrior was terrible before. I think Mace skills kind of rough, but the Warrior was never bad. And just to be clear, I think we're talking about Mace skills being bad. I think the Warrior is still strong. I think people are overreacting about the Smith of Chayula. It is definitely 5 a.m. where I'm at. The Smith of Kitava, a slight nerfs. You're the reason I started playing Path of Exile. Saw one of your videos and was a Diablo player, and I made the switch because of you. Thank you, King Titan. Do you still play Diablo? Or are you just playing PoE now? Hey, Soshiro, what's going on, man? Yeah, dude, Soshiro, you can join. I hope you're doing well, dude. I hope your family stuff is in an all right place. And I just realized, sorry for bringing that up on stream. You probably didn't want me to do that. Okay, only saw positive changes. There are a few nerfs. Are we able to change our premium stash tabs to merchant tabs yet? Nope, that starts on launch day. Any new premium tabs you buy cannot be converted to merchant. All your old premiums can be converted starting on August 29th, and then you'll be able to buy new merchant tabs on the 29th. Damn, that toxic positivity, just be negative for a change. I have a whole negative persona called Toxic Try. Hate seeing people happy. I know. What's going on, Rothzo? Lots of doomers. Podcast win. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I fully plan on getting more interviews with Jonathan. For those of you guys who don't know, I think what makes a lot of people upset is that I honestly just popped up out of nowhere. right? I started my channel just doing silly essays while we had almost no Path of Exile 2 information. And then one Christmas, Jonathan went on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit and just started answering lots of questions. And I did Reddit recaps of all of Jonathan's answers. And then he shouted me out in an interview with Ziggy D, RiseQT, and Noogie. And then and then they reached out and said, hey, do you want an interview? And I was like, heck yeah. So that's how it all started. And now I think that was interview number 6 with Jonathan. I think I'm tied with DM and Ghazi with most Jonathan interviews. I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging. It's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep those up. I'm always, chatting with the devs. I'm always reaching out. I don't know. What can I say? It's so freaking cool. It's awesome. I never would have imagined being able to do this in a million years, guys. And by the way, I'm not tooting our own horns, guys, but a lot of the problems we brought up in that interview midway through Dawn of the Hunt, what happened? Were they solved? If people are going to give Ziz credit for the early changes in Dawn of the Hunt, where's the credit for the Talkative Tribe community for all these other changes? Like the attribute switch. Remember in that interview where I was like, attributes are terrible, Jonathan. Like, I can't even equip this tri-attribute spear. First, Jonathan was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Plus, there's not a tri-attribute spear. Yes, there is. Yes, there is, Jonathan. It's a glass spear, bro. The most popular spear. Oh my god. That was one thing. Plus, smoothing out the end game progression. They're doing that as well, so that casuals like me get access to the Atlas passive trees sooner. That is huge, dudes. Because I didn't even get access to most of the Atlas passive trees in Dawn of the Hunt. Eek. Rough. I gotta stop yapping. Jesus Christ. Hey, Saber, what's going on? Mainly joined your Discord because of your excitement and general speculation on the game, so that's a win for the toxic positivity. Okay, a lot of people... Oh, Bujar, thanks for the knock 25. When is your next interview with the PoE2 devs? Well, I just had one 3 days ago, so I'm going to ask for another one with Jonathan, probably midway through this league. I'd love to do another thing that, like what I did with On the Hunt, so that's what I'll ask for. Yeah, I think people talk about the toxic positivity because there was an infamous video of mine right at PoE2's launch, okay, where I was super slow, okay, and I hadn't reached endgame yet, and I had a video that blew up on day 2 or 3 of PoE2's release back in December. Like it's like I think it's at 200,000 views. Asmongold reacted to it and everything. Everybody in the PoE2 community saw it. It's called "The Massive Path of Exile 2 Hate is Ridiculous" or something like that, because people were crashing out about loot and the end game and the difficulty, like lots of different things. And I touched on the end game in that post, in that video. And I was like, I haven't reached it yet, but man, it's only been literally 2 days. Let's give it some time. Like, is it really that bad? Blah, 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 blah. Basically defending it, basically shutting down critiques of it. And I did it in a really like a schwarmy way. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. That one video, that one 20-minute video clouded people started calling me super toxic positivity and blah, 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 blah. With one 3-minute segment in that video, right? This is my entire personality now. And would I change it now? I mean, I changed my opinion once I reached endgame. I saw some of the issues. Loot, though, I'm still the mindset they gigabuff loot too much. Come at me, Exiles. Come at me. You need a loot filter. Remember, the goal for Path of Exile 2 was 0 loot filter. Ugh. The difficulty, honestly, guys, I feel like the game is so much easier now than it was at launch. I wish that difficulty was back. I think this patch is gonna be giga easy. All right, That was my first thing that I brought up to Jonathan. I said, like, is the game, like, does it fight back now? What's going on? And he said, no, of course. Yeah, it's good. It's good. We just tried to buff the things that were bad. We will see. I care about fun most of all, but I had a lot of fun when the enemies were like kind of tough, especially at the beginning, right? I'm curious to see if stuff falls over. Anyway, another yap over. Okay. What about Ziggy D for most Jonathan interviews?
Dear butts.
Yeah, Ziggy's been interviewing the devs for like, what, 15 years now? 15 years straight? Every few months? Oh, yeah, Jonathan, yeah, Ziggy has the most by far. Sorry, I meant non-Ziggy. Ziggy's number one. I'm an idiot. Also, I do hope your positivity despite all the hate distraction. Oh, I'm not. Don't worry. If I start disliking the game, you guys are gonna know. But I'm also like not gonna play it. Like with Path of Exile 1, did not have fun. Did I stream it and crap on it and make videos about how I didn't like it and it wasn't fun? No, I made one video, and 2 minutes of the video was explaining why I wasn't playing PoE 1, and I moved on. You notice me making content or playing Last Epoch right now? No. Do you notice me playing Diablo 4 outside of the expansion launches? No. Right? I don't dwell on things that I don't enjoy. Oh! Hey, Chaos and Coffee. What's going on, dude? Yep, it's about 30 minutes from now. Do I know Scorpius? He's relatively new and produces content of the quality level of big creators. Could you bring him to your podcast, maybe? Yeah, I can check out Scorpius Leaderly. I have not seen his videos. Yeah, I'm the White Knight boss. That's true. Big White Knight here, guys. Huge White Knight. Go ahead. Clip that, send it off. Big White Knight, the biggest White Knight. Grinding Gear Games can never do any wrong. Anytime anybody critiques Grinding Gear Games, it's just because they're jealous that they're not a game developer making one of the most successful games and ARPGs of the last decade. Yep. By the way, free-to-play weekend, Grinding Gear Games is totally just fishing to beat their Steam record, right? Like, I think it's totally going to beat the 580 from launch with the free weekend. What will it hit, though? Also, there are Path of Exile ads. I've never seen Path of Exile 2 ads before. There are actual ads. All right. I'm going down. I need to scroll. Tribe, it's 5 a.m. Why am I up? Because I'm doing a podcast. Hey, Zao, what's going on? G'day, it's Triggy T here. Oh, God, Triggy T. That sounds like I get triggered easily. G'day, folks. It's Triggy T here with another Grinding Gear Games interview. My Australian accent is not too good right now, and it's slipping into that of some sort of British dialect, and I should stop. I was ahead with the first 5 words, and then I kept dropping. Meta Blaster? Are you sure you're watching the right channel, Meta Blaster? I'm just kidding. Thank you for the $2, bro. Thank you for doing what you're doing with the devs. Yeah, I feel like, okay, all right. So here's what happened with that interview, guys, by the way. Okay, here's the story. I'll just give the 30-second version. So there was going to be another LA event with Grinding Gear Games for 0.3, the Third Edict. And I was going to get a sit-down 30-minute interview in person with Jonathan, okay? I saw the email. I instantly responded. I said, book me. I'm going. I'll go to LA whenever. Heck yeah. Okay? And they said, okay, awesome. You're written down. We're telling GGG, good to go. You get to interview Jonathan. You get to play the new patch, everything. Awesome. In person. And then 2 days later, they reach out and they say, actually, Grinding Gear Games has decided to cancel this event because of Gamescom and PAX West. So we're not doing the in-person event anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh. How terrible. Okay, but I understand it. And then they reached out and said, okay, but instead, Grinding Gear Games is going to do an online version of the event. Would you still like to do that? Would you like to interview Jonathan Rogers? And I said, of course. Of course I would. Okay? So a few weeks pass by, right? And we get to the day. It's the day before the big reveal, right? The night before is when I saw the presentation and when I was going to interview Jonathan. Okay? So it's a special Discord channel, right? I hop in the Discord channel. I get the invite. And nobody's in it except for me and GGG. Nobody else. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? And then Woody Joe joins a little bit after me, okay? But then nobody else is joining. And then the time comes, and Jonathan's like, hey, you know, we're going to get the presentation started. You know, hop into the voice chat. And I hop into the voice chat. And Jonathan hops in, and it's just me and Jonathan. And I'm like, Jonathan, dude, what's going on? Why is it only me? This isn't, what's happening? And he said, well, what happened was we sent out the invites, and you and one other person, Woody Joe, responded before we decided to cut everything off, right? And I didn't want to, like, basically bait and switch you. I didn't want to blue ball you. So I said, I'll do this. I'll do the online version and have the interview online, because that wasn't right of us to say that we were going to do this in-person thing and then take it away. Jonathan, and like 20 minutes passed by. Woody Joe showed up late, essentially. And 25, 30 minutes passed by. And it's just me. Guys, I had a personal presentation. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then Woody Joe joined midway through the reveal, and we ended up interviewing Jonathan at the same time because he had to go somewhere. I was going to do the one-on-one interview. If I get the chance to do something like that again, I'm pushing for a one-on-one. It was interesting because I have a very different perspective than Woody Joe. I handle interviews very differently. I think it would have been a better interview if I would have had 30 minutes with Jonathan and then Woody Joe had the next 30 minutes. That's what I'm pushing for next time. I just got to be a little bit more assertive with how I handle things. But dude, I know that I'm already the GGG and Jonathan stan. They put on that whole thing just for literally two people. Two people. And one of them has like 50,000 subs on YouTube. That's crazy. I mean, my interviews do hit a lot of people, but that's insane. Like, props. So many other gaming companies would have been like, I'm not wasting an hour and a half of Jonathan's time. Like, the game director's time. Well, okay. People couldn't do it because of Gamescom. All right, we're canceling. Bye-bye. No, not them. Based. Oh gosh, I see a mechanics question, but there's a super chat for $10 from Asher Entropic. Hey, Try, now that we are getting deflection and reduced LA damage from armor, do you think armor evasion builds will actually be decent now? Also, love your stuff. Thanks for your level-headed takes. They'll be better, but I think that evasion energy shield is just going to be beyond busted, because now you got evasion, energy shield, and deflection. Scaling that is going to be way better than armor evasion, I think, just as a baseline. Like, I still feel like energy shield evasion is on top by far. Okay. Armor is before res. Try, you started Expedition 33. Oh my gosh, Gufran, it's amazing. Yeah, Jonathan is based. It was insane. Thoughts on martial artist monk? Gufran, that's probably what I'm going to start. Well, yeah, Majed, Woody had better questions. He had better questions for a certain sect of the audience, right? He also had more questions. I asked one question and then I shot it over to him. You know, I was really trying to make sure that I was being cordial, though. But and I don't know. We focused a lot on, like, when are we releasing, when I knew other people would ask that. And yeah. Okay. Fine, it was good. Work on that assertion. Yeah, I was just trying to be kind. How the heck do people not respond to GG's emails instantly? Bro, I don't know. It's the same that People on Twitter dunk on me for responding to GGG's tweets to get engagement, because that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm getting engagement. I'm being smart, and I'm having fun doing it. And people dunk on me, like, every single GGG post is like, oh, when's Talkative Try gonna respond? Oh, if I'm late, like I'm getting my daughters to bed or something, and I don't respond when they post. Guys, I started doing that about a year ago. Guess what happens now? Every single content creator does it now too. You know why? Because it's smart. Who gets the crap for it? Hello. What's going on? From 1 to 10, how hard was it to keep your heart from breaking when Druid wasn't part of the patch? You were the first person I thought of. It dropped when I saw that splash screen and there was no Druid. It dropped, but as the presentation went on, I felt better and better and better. One sec, I gotta let my kitty out. Okay, you want to get out? You had to go out. Okay. All right. Was that in the middle of our day a few days ago? I think I saw that happening. Yes, Saber, it was. Yep, it was in the middle of your day. Yeah, it was really cool, Saber. Like, I mean, that... I am eternally grateful, like, for the opportunity he initially gave me. And for those of you who remember, my first interview with Jonathan was really bad. Like, not from his perspective, right? He really enjoyed the interview, but I did so poorly because I didn't look at chat the entire time. I didn't look at what my moderators were saying because I'm an idiot. But the entire interview, while Jonathan's talking, this is me. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, great. And I was like a little louder than Jonathan too. So while Jonathan is interviewing, like, I'm constantly interjecting because that's usually what I do at work, right? When I'm talking to someone, right? In a one-on-one conversation, that's just how I am. I'm constantly like saying, like, affirming, positive affirmation. It was so bad, dudes. It was like, and everybody in the comments was like, you dummy. You dummy. What are you doing? This is an interview, not a conversation. Don't you know that there's thousands of people listening? Yeah, I did, and I was so nervous. Oh. You can reach 100% deflect. They said that. Did the guy who did the leaks get in trouble at all? I mean, get in trouble. The only trouble you get is probably not being able to do it in the future. So how do we know if it's your real take or for engagement? No, it's all my real takes. I just respond fast for the engagement. It's a smart thing to do, right? That is so far behind. People give you shit because they get a reaction out of you? Not really, though. Not really. They used to. They used to get a reaction out of me. Now I don't. No reaction from me. Alright, let's see. But will they fix the server lag? The one thing they never talk about. They claimed... Actually, they did talk about this in my interview. I believe they fixed... They added a lot of... Or they removed a lot of providers that were not fixing the DDoSing. DDoSing. Yeah, Druid is confirmed for next patch. That one interview was my biggest learning lesson. Yep. Yes, it was. It seriously was. I was absolutely bewildered. I was starstruck, bewildered, flabbergasted, all the adjectives. That was an insane day. Is Sprint 50% more movement speed or increased? Oh god. Bro, I don't know. It's 50%. It looks like increased, but I don't know. I have never tried Black Myth Wukong. I would love to try it. They talked about it in the interview with Caleb. Yeah. I'm really improving my interview skills. Thank you, Mr. Timberwatch. I'm actively trying. You need to be more confrontational and try to convey questions what the community would want, not just what you would like, a mix of both. I think I do that. I didn't in this last interview as much because I was trying to focus on the content of the presentation. But the one from Dawn of the Hunt, I definitely did that. Now, was I confrontational? No. But did I try to ask questions that 80% of my questions were community in the Dawn of the Hunt interview? And I tried to push on things like the balance changes, attribute requirements, fire skills being trash, all that stuff. All right, I'm going to slurp out of this straw. Please ignore this. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Ooh, that's potent. Okay. Free weekend might be tough. Yep. Ice Spear is going to go burr. Gouffran, do you mean Fangs of Frost? Because you still need to parry to get Fangs of Frost. Stockholm mentioned. I like your interviews. You ask questions I would ask as a casual. Yep. Yep, pretty much. I caught up on chat, guys. The hell am I drinking? I'm drinking a Celsius with a straw so it doesn't get in my teeth. It's going straight down my gullet. God, gullet is a word. Meta Blaster, thanks for the $5. Whenever you get a chance, please ask about updating GPU APIs DLSS 4 FSR3-4. Okay. I can ask technical questions. Jonathan knows what that means. I don't. But I can probably ask that. Talkative Tri-Evolve to Talkative Slurper. Ugh. Podcast is in about 18 minutes. I'm drinking a Celsius and energy drink. No, I seriously thought I saw a spear thrown with an ice trail in the trailer. Oh yeah, that's Glacial Lance. Glacial Lance. That was really strong last patch too. I'm gonna try to get another GGG interview for this league, probably in October. I'll request it. If they give it to me, they give it to me. That's really nice. If they don't, they don't. That's fine. But I'll request it midway through. I'm probably gonna start unarmed. I also have a really cool thing that I'm doing for League Start that I'm going to announce soon. Okay, I just realized we have been chatting for 43 minutes. Holy crap, you guys. We got the podcast in 17 minutes. Make sure if you want to see all my podcasts and you're on YouTube that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the sub notification bell. Oh, I did it. I did it in the proper amount of time. I'm so impressed with myself. Okay, I really wanted to look at this thing right here. This poll that I did. Okay. Go, guys. I asked last night, before I went to bed, on YouTube, biggest audience of ours, guys. Exiles, the Path of Exile 2 0.3 Third Edict revealed us as settled. With what we currently know, the patch notes and the DM Destin Talkative Try interviews with Jonathan Rogers, how do you feel about the patch before playing? Is it a W, win, or an L, loss? And why? Let me know. All right, we got 48 comments. 68% say it's a W. 2% say it's an L. Vocal minority, holy. 26% waiting to judge until I play. These are the actual level-headed people, not like me in the W camp. And 4% no opinion, see results. Pretty good. 2% think it's an L. Those are the druid purists right there. That's where I would be if I was crazy. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. All right, I haven't looked at any of these. Okay. Huge W. There were so many There were so many paths I wanted to take with my builds, but couldn't with limitations that were in the game, or me being forced in the direction just to handle the endgame. The changes being made make me feel like I'd be more free in my builds. That alone has me hyped. Druid has been the hook that got me to check out PoE since its reveal video long ago, and I told myself would be the only thing to get me to play the new league. Then I saw the video and all the quality of life changes, and PoE2 managed to hook me again. I'm perfectly happy with them making the game better, then finally getting to use Druid. Until then, Monk and Warrior have managed to make a special place in my heart. Demon form is my next build goal, though. Very cool. W, no question about it, except maybe add June, the Veiled Master, to Hideout. I have to go to stupid well every time. I said that. I was like, you gotta go to the well every time, dude? Really? I think they're gonna hotfix that. Question remains: Windbane, Blight, and Void Sphere. Big W, especially for evasion builds. Absolute win, no complaints. So excited for the weekend. Even if it turns out bad, it's still just a W, just because GGG is actively trying to solve the issues and working on the best interest of the players. Yeah. Okay, wow. I didn't think it was going to be 2% L. Everybody is saying W. Look at that. I'm disappointed by all the W voters. Oh my goodness. Depends on how good drop rates are for currency. Yeah. Nerf patch disguised as a buff patch. I am very disappointed. Critans, if you're in the chat right now or you're watching the VOD, bro, how can you say that? We don't have all the new stuff in the game. They can't keep the old stuff as powerful as it was while adding in all this power with lineage gems, the new support gem tiers, all the new notables. There's so much more power in the game. See, this opinion, man, I don't get it. I get being disappointed by no druid, no fixes to towers, blah, blah, blah. But that is a waiting to judge until I play. I can't count they nerfed stuff as an L. I just can't. Toxic Try is the least toxic person I've seen in my life. Gouffron. Come on. He's pretty toxic, bro. Whoa. Rabzo, where'd that come from, bro? What's your thoughts on nerfing all boss HP by 15%? What? Dude, oh my god. I don't know why Jonathan thinks the game's too easy. It's not. It's not too easy, I swear. Oh, I disagree with Jonathan on that so strongly. Where is this nerf? 15%? I'm looking for 15% through the patch notes. No. Okay, that's fine. No. Here it is. You tricksy man. The life of most Act 3 bosses has been reduced by approximately 15%. Okay. I understand that a little bit. I get that. I thought you meant all bosses. And I was going to be like, GGG. Also, did you guys see this change? For Trial of the Sakama? Failing to collect all the hourglasses during the Zarok the Temporal boss fight no longer fails your Trial of the Sakama, now instead only damaging your honor. If you fail to collect the hourglasses, Zarok the Temporal now enters a secondary phase where most of the hourglasses and slow debuff persists, but at a much slower rate. Boom. No more boops, guys. I'm gonna miss the boop. I hope he still boops you. I'd love if he booped you still. Reduce the number of river hags that spawn in the drowned city. Oh, goodness. I'm drinking through the straw because I don't want it to touch my teeth, because it has really powerful citric acids in it, and it will destroy the enamel on my teeth. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're down. We've downed it. I like that he one-shot you. Me too, Captain Dirk. Me too. I would prefer he stayed with the boop, but you know, what can you do? What can you do? Straight to the throat is diabolical. It is strong, my man. I feel it. All right. Let me all right, I'm gonna say it one more time for both channels. You're on Twitch. Make sure you're following. We do lots of podcasts. We're going to stream a lot of Path of Exile too. If you like the vibes, go ahead, follow. And if you're on YouTube, there's a lot of you watching on YouTube. You like this video. It helps spread it to more people. We're about to get ready with the podcast. 67 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Rookie freaking numbers, YouTube. Come on. Come on. If you're on mobile, it's just... We got 400 live viewers on YouTube. Guys, come on. If you're on mobile, just tap with the thumb. And if you're on desktop, come on, just move your cursor away from your Uma Masume. Okay? You don't need to keep playing Uma Masume. You can just tap the like button. You got it. Come on. It helps. It's big. It helps bigly. I don't know how to say that in a non-annoying way. So that's the best you guys are going to get. All right, here we go. You're going to hit the sack? All right. Good night, Zal. Thanks for tuning in for a little bit. I wish they would focus on content instead of polishing and balancing, especially with this 8-month feedback loop. Well, Z Unpopular, their reasoning for doing the balancing is because so many people said so many things weren't viable or weren't fun. So they don't want to add more things that are potentially unviable or unfun while there's a bunch of existing stuff in the game that are unviable or unfun. So I get that. And to be real, a lot of this stuff looks pretty freaking fun now. So, I'm excited. Yeah, I have not died to river hags at all, man. Okay. Liking is basic. I know it's giga basic. But I still... guys, I don't understand. It helps so much. Me saying like, subscribe in my videos and comment has helped massively. Especially that with that little new graphic, the one that I keep playing, this one right here. I bought that for $10. Totally worth it. Just seeing the engagement differences between staying quiet and spending 8 seconds of the video saying that is huge. All right, we're gonna start getting people in. All right. Okay, that was a loud snort right there. Sorry about that loud snort. Okay. I'm getting my notes up. Oh, it's gonna flashbang. Maybe I can turn on dark mode. Where are my extensions? Oh, I have them turned off. YouTube dislike can be on. Dark reader 7TV. Oh, 7TV was off. Dark reader is on. There we go. Okay. We're in dark mode now, everybody. Good. Okay. Hey, Lolcohol, what's going on? Hello, hello, hello. You think 0.4 is going to be bigger than 0.3 for endgame, and it's going to have the druid, so possibly.
What's this? A real challenge. You've finally caught my attention.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, first sub of the night. Thank you, Jimster, for the tier 1. I appreciate that, bro. Okay, ready whenever. Same. Okay, everybody's ready to go. Yep, they're all ready to go. All right, we're gonna get them in then. Hopefully everything works. Let's see. Why is my friend Andrew watching me at 5:20 in the morning? Oh my goodness. Are you in the live chat right now, dude? I just saw your comment on Discord. Holy crap. All right. Let's get these people in here. Andrew, man, you should not be up. Crazy. You crazy. All right. Path of Exile. Let's make sure this still functions appropriately. All right. Here we go. Video call. Oh, wait. No. I need to turn on my virtual camera. Oh. I didn't turn. No, that was on purpose, Sirgog. Okay, I wanted to make sure I had video. I have video now. Great. Okay. There we go. Okay. Pop out.
Yo.
What's up?
Hello.
Oh my gosh. I have to redo it. Why do I have to redo everything? What?
Wah, wah.
No.
Wow.
What?
Actually,
That's
Let me get the Discord soundboard version of that.
show my own
Dude,
camera.
those
Maybe
things
that's
are
why. Okay, I don't want to show my own camera. Jesus.
Oh my god. That should be bad.
All right. Dang it. I gotta carve us out. Okay. I thought that would be all good, but we're not. Okay. I'll carve you guys all out. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
pretty good.
Doing good?
Yep.
Okay.
I need my light on. That's why that's better.
Who's this? We're gonna do Lolcohol first. All right.
Yay.
Because I always have the problem centering people, especially Dreamcore. I can't get Dreamcore's head centered. He always calls me out for it. So
So what you're saying is that I should move around during this show.
no, Dreamcore doesn't even move. I'm just bad about it for some reason. There we go. Lolcohol. Oh, you're not centered.
Me? Oh no. Do
I'll
you want me?
I'll fix it.
You fix it? I can crop it a bit.
No, I'll fix it. I got it.
All right.
Right here. Yeah, I'll just make it a little bigger. Little bigger. Oh my goodness, my cat's going insane. 1 second. Let me just go let her in.
My one's having a bath.
We could try and confuse the cat. Does a here kitty 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 work?
Guaranteed somebody said Rue is a cat. Thank you so much, Lolcohol, for that. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna cut that out because that looks unprofessional. If you're typing Rue as a cat right now, Lolcohol, that doesn't count. Oh, you didn't. Okay.
I never typed
No.
that.
Okay, you don't? Yeah. Good.
I love cats.
Thank you. I also love cats. Okay, we've got Lolcohol.
It was a burn and a half.
We got
Shots fired.
big shots fired. Oh shoot. All right, we'll do Dream now. Why? I wonder why these cropped. Oh no.
It seems to happen every time though.
I swear, dude. One time it worked. The setup is good for my other pod. Let's cut up the top space for you. There we go.
Oh, you mean the one just with 2 boxes?
Yeah, with 2 boxes. Yeah. That works every time. I don't know if maybe it's because no, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's happening. At least my hands aren't shaking. My hands used to shake every time I did this. When I first started posting these. I'm much calmer now. All right,
Yeah.
you look pretty centered.
You got used to it.
I did. Here you go. There you go. I think that's perfect, dude. You're like emerging out of your nameplate. Good.
That is really good.
Okay, I think that's perfect. Hell yeah. Let's go. My goodness, my 1-year-old, that's weird to say. Bawling right now. Okay.
Oh no.
I'm so upset. I know, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Can you
just thought
keep,
I'd be thoughtful.
can you keep doing that the whole podcast, Sirgog? Like, just... Oh, that's good. All right. Jesus.
It's so loud though. It's so loud.
So loud, yeah.
Is it loud? I think I have Sirgog turned down a little bit because it doesn't seem that loud on my end. Chat, is it
Alright,
too
let's
loud? Should Sirgog stop being a troll? Or are we good? It's fine. Sound is fine. Yeah, you're good to go on the stream. Oh my god. Every single point that Lolcohol makes about crafting, Sirgog can make like a funny sound. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no.
That would have been good after the Rue is a cat comment. I love cats.
Oh, I can mute the soundboard actually.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so we're good on this screen, but I want to just in case. Oh, shoot. I wanna quickly set up this one. This one won't take as long. Okay.
He says famously, this one won't take too long.
I swear, I'm not gonna be perfect on this one because we're all tiny. Doesn't need to be perfect. I try to get rid of all the green boxes, as best I can.
Val, all the things.
Dude, that Val Orb selfie thing looks so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really want to try to get it. I messaged GGG and I said, "Are you guys gonna like send that to your offices for the next Exile Con? Like where is that gonna be? Because you guys should
really
keep that."
all it'll be is just just some sort of what they call AI these days, reinterpretation of a photo.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and it would just make your face look like a Val orb, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are probably right.
Anything that would have been called a Snapchat filter 5 years ago is now called AI because of the marketing associated with it. And,
yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Look at Sirgog. Dream. Here we go. You're not gonna be perfect on this one. I'm sorry. Da-da-da. Get some healing in there. Jesus Christ. All right. Look fine. And Lolcohol. Where are you, my friend? Somewhere here.
You're looking for Dreamcore? I mean Sirgog?
Oh, I'm looking for Sirgog.
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna do double Lolcohol, okay? Because we're gonna meme it up, okay? We're just gonna do 2 Lolcohols. There you go. Go. Oh, you have your Mobalytics shirt on. I have it beside me. It's pretty hot in here, though.
Yeah, it's too warm for that.
It's freezing here, and well, actually, this has been the warmest week we've had since winter in Melbourne, but it's still very much not t-shirt weather, even when a PC is turned on, functioning like an 800-watt heater at my feet.
Right. My 4090. I have a gigabyte version of the 4090, and apparently that runs hot. Oh my goodness. It runs very hot. When I'm playing PoE2, that thing heats up. Okay. I think everybody's good. That's good. I don't know if we'll talk about Monkey. I don't even know if we'll use this screen. We'll see. Okay. Dreamcore's cam is partially someone else's cam. Really?
Really?
Oh, it is. Shit, it is on this screen.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
That doesn't really matter. I'll just leave that. It's fine.
Oh.
It's only the edge of Lolcohol's, I think.
There we go. It took me 2 seconds.
Cupboard.
There we go. Thank you, perfectionist in the chat. I appreciate it. All right. All right, now we're good. I think you're good on this one. Yeah, you're perfect on this
Actually,
one.
let's get a round of applause for that perfectionist.
Where's the soundboard? Where's the soundboard? Excellent stuff. Okay, let me make sure I get my notes, and we're going to do a quick sound check to make sure everybody's good, and we'll get started, you guys. Oh, well, 5 minutes past time. That's okay, though. All right, let's start. Dreamcore. Go for it.
Testing, volume check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
How is he, chat? Is he good? He looks good to me. It's okay. Damn. Only okay. Maybe I'll boost you a tiny bit. I'll do a 10%. There we go.
Only okay.
All right, Sirgog, let's get a test for you.
Hello, everyone. Earth calling try. Earth calling try. Come in, try.
His ears. Wow, somebody's insulting your voice, Dreamcore. Jesus Christ. Sounds fine to me.
I get a lot of the comments I get is about my voice, one way or the other.
Oh God. Too sexy for Sirgog. Okay. All right. That's cool. I read your comment. There you go. Okay. It's my audio that cuts out. My audio cut. No. Okay. Lolcohol, go for it.
Check. 1 2 1 2. Hello. Check. Are we all good? Oh, and I think let's just ask Sushiro if he's watching to just shout in chat if someone's too loud or quiet.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's good? Everything's good? Good? Awesome? Yeah, I'll make adjustments, Sushiro, if somebody's... And I'll be watching my audio. Make sure nobody's peeking. Okay. All right. Yeah, Sirgog needs to do a change of clothing mid-episode. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I do have the jacket near me. I just put on the Mobalytics shirt instead. Just
Lolcohol is soft. I boosted Lolcohol by about 13. I'll do 120. There you go. That should be fine. I'll
right.
do.
If it's
Right
yeah,
there.
it'll be easier once we're all talking.
Yeah.
Like in relation to one another. Yeah.
Okay. You're always
All right.
quiet, Lolcohol. Come on.
Me.
Come on. So soft-spoken. Okay. All right. I think we are set. Checking. Okay. I just realized I drank all my drink. Energy drink. I don't have water near me. I might run and get water mid-pod while somebody's ranting about crafting. Okay.
It's gonna happen.
I don't know who's gonna do that. Okay, I'll count us in, do an intro, and yeah, I don't think people need introductions, so I'll just say everybody's name really quick. You guys are all famous, so you're good to go. And we'll go right into the first. You're famous. You guys gotta think. Come on, Lolcohol is like seen as a big streamer in Counter-Strike. Remember, Lolcohol? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
like,
true. It's true.
You're posing as a big streamer in Counter-Strike. That's so weird, bro. That's hilarious. Okay, the first topic was that. Okay. All right. And then okay. Good to go. Intros always suck. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome everyone to the 5th episode of the Pod of Exile. We are juiced by Mobalytics and here to talk about all things Path of Exile 2 0.3, the Third Edict. I am joined by my 3 co-hosts, Dreamcore, Sirgog, and Lolcohol. We are, I think, excited for this update. I've seen the opinions of Sirgog, Lolcohol, and a lot about buffs and nerfs from Dreamcore. So I'm excited to get all the opinions and all the different features and content changes happening in this patch from this trio of guests. And I think we are going to start off by asking everyone what type of character customization or character archetype is exciting them most. Because what this patch really focused on was editing existing options in the game to be more exciting, to be more fun, and to be more interesting. Which honestly is something that a lot of people were yearning for when I reached out a few weeks ago asking for what Path of Exile 2 needs most right now. So I suppose we'll throw it on over. Sirgog, we're going to start with you. What are you most excited for customization-wise or archetype-wise in the Third Edict?
right. I'm not sure yet whether this is going to be good, but it looks interesting. All of the various things that you can do with spending elemental infusions in order to empower spells just in interesting and different ways. I expect that a lot of these will end up being mediocre. Some will be good enough, but not great. There's probably a couple of things you can do that are great, but ultimately this whole archetype just jumps out to me as interesting. Whether it's good or not is an open question. Whether I end up league starting it or not is an open question, but it looks interesting.
A lot of people have been...
Firestorm looks really cool.
Which one? Firestorm?
Firestorm, yeah, that looks really,
I'm
really
more
cool.
negative on that after looking at the
double
numbers again on it, honestly. I was
Yeah.
more positive about it, but I looked at the numbers and I'm like, yeah, this is not jumping out to me as looking amazing.
Are you guys seeing that as a builder spender playstyle, or do you think you'll be able to make it a little bit more naturally than needing to constantly use X ability to then use Y ability? It looked like there were some support gems that were being added to the game to help just organically form more infusions on the ground, but I've seen that as kind of a concern here. Anybody have thoughts on that?
I feel we're not going to know until we play with it. That's my thought. But
Yeah.
I don't get the sense that it's going to be a locked-in rotation. And like some of the least exciting playstyles in like Wrath of the Lich King era World of Warcraft, which is when I know about a bit better, there will be elements that feel like a sort of a rotation that's self-varying will come up a bit. But yeah, I just want to try it. It could be interesting. If it turns out I'm wrong, well, play something else.
That's
Yeah,
a
I think
healthy
those things are a
mindset.
little bit of a slippery slope, like with the infusion generation, right? It's like, to begin with the initial implementation, it's probably going to be somewhat difficult to sustainably generate them, and then over time, it's like you have all of these different interactions where you can just essentially just have them for every for every skill cast. But I think it's going to be, that is a really interesting thing. The infusions, how impactful they're going to be.
Yeah. I
It
like
looks fun.
Yeah, the visual changes too are pretty cool. So
Yeah, that's mostly what I was talking about Firestorm. It looks so satisfying with the lightning and cold infusion. You just have this like giant storm. It's pretty cool.
100%.
Yeah, that I agree looks spectacular.
Yeah.
It's just that it being so small, unless you feed it a fire infusion, felt like a bit of a non-starter for me. Whereas Fireball looks really interesting as something that's worse than 020 when you don't have an infusion, but when you've got one, it's just off the planet better than 020. And so that is actually where I'm leaning towards, partly because I want to build around Fireflower anyway.
Was it giga buffed numerically, Fireball? Because I read a post last night, doom scrolling while I was rocking my daughter, and it said that Fireball in 03 is just Fireball from 02 when it has an infusion. Are the numbers really good on it?
Yeah, the numbers are like, I think it's 2.4 fireballs from 020 when you do feed it an infusion. When you don't feed it an infusion, it's like 0.7 with no secondary projection. So it's miles worse than 02 without, but with it's miles better. And just got to solve the fire infusion feeding. And then if you are also picking up lightning and cold at the same time, maybe occasionally drop a firestorm.
See, so my one concern, and we'll move on to the next person in a moment after this infusion talk, but my one concern is I hope this doesn't feel like the Fangs of Frost skill where you need to parry to then use. I tried to make that work so hard in 020. It works the same in 030. But if it's that hard to generate the infusions and that clunky, I feel like these infusions are going to fall flat. I hope they're more in the same vein as endurance charges and the like. So we'll see. We'll see soon. Lolcohol, what are you most excited for when it comes to character customization?
I'm really looking forward to seeing the new gems, the unique ones. What are they called?
Lineage.
The lineage gems. Yes, that one. Whenever there's these patch notes with just so much stuff, I tend to just get overwhelmed and struggle to like focus on one thing that jumps out. Whereas I think like Dream and GOG are more like, oh, you see the numbers and that's like sparks interest. I'm just like, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff. And the one thing that could be fun is like Snap. They changed Cold Snap to Snap. I wonder about some kind of like chaining, getting some kind of like Herald chaining stuff. But I think with all the new gems and the new gem system, where you can now, there's no limit on just normal gems. I think there's going to be a lot of cool builds that pop up really quickly. There's going to be some people who league start and they just luck into picking the right thing, or they might get unlucky, like you said, with the infusions. We don't know. It might be insanely good. And then there's people who are just like flying through. But it's a little bit hard to say until we've actually had our hands on it.
And the lineage supports, we've only seen 4, 5, and there's 40 in the game. So and I remember that some people really yearned for some more cool drop related items. This is exactly that. It almost reminds me, and I think Dreamcore, you might appreciate this. the way they pitched it reminded me of Guild Wars 1, hunting down bosses for specific skills. They kind of said there are a few world drop
skill
lineage.
capture, yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
really
of them
cool-
are
cool
pinnacles.
design.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I hope it works out. I really do, because it seems like a real experiment. And as we've seen, they can just rip stuff from the game if it does not work out. Like the big.
I wonder
support
actually
gem
if some of the lineage support gems were designed initially to be a drop from Tota, and obviously Tota didn't make it in because they actually have the names of like a bunch of the chieftains, right? We have Rakiata's support gem, which is like bypassing or inverting resistances. And there's quite a few other ones as well there. So I wonder if they're going to be put into Tota when Tota eventually comes around. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be interesting.
That'd be a lot of power for one section of the game to have. Like, you compare to
It would be,
Ultimatum doesn't have anything like that in the level of power.
No.
What do you
it
mean?
Can do though. They could add really strong soul cores to the end of Ultimatum, right? There's definitely potential for them to do it. It's just whether they, like, as the games progress and they're adding more things, I think they're focusing on different areas of the game. So when they first like added the Trial of Chaos, they just kind of were focusing on very basic soul cores. And now you can see in 0.2 they are adding more interesting socketables. So I think they could do that.
Yeah. Big possibility. Ties in ancestor, lineage, all that. They like to be thematic in PoE2. We know that.
Yeah.
All right, Dream, what are you most excited for when it comes to altering your characters in 030? I know you really wanted more diversity for builds. You think they achieved it?
Yeah. I think, well, we're going to have to wait and see exactly what's going on in terms of like the balance of the skills and the passive tree and stuff like that. For me, I really like the look of the totem that fires the grenade. I think that just looks great. Like the mortar cannon. Yeah, that looks really, really good. I think there's a lot you can do with that, and as I expect it to work, it will be you just plop down a totem. It will have its own individual cooldowns for its grenades. We don't know the numbers on whether it will have like how much less damage. It's going to have a less damage multiplier on it, but I don't know how much that's going to be. But right now, I'm kind of interested in looking at that with either the Warbringer, because Warbringer has an extra totem now. You just get a max totem on the Ascendancy. That's really good. Or the Deadeye. It's going to be one of those two, right? I think looking at the numbers, the Deadeye is just better, which is unfortunate because I think everyone's going to be locking into Deadeye this league, which is, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's one thing. And then the other thing that I kind of noticed and I'm interested in is there's a lineage support gem. I can't remember the exact name of it now, but it's it makes your totems deal damage when they die. Like it's like a, you guys remember the Crucible build, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exploding totems.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's another support gem in the game which has basically been ignored because it's completely useless up to this point, right? It's called Greatwood support, and what it does is it makes it so that your totem limit no longer counts, right? You have a max limit of 1 totem, but modifiers to totem limit grants more area of effect for your totems, more damage, and more life for your totems, right? So you can stack a bunch of totem limit to gain a bunch of more life, damage, and area of effect for your totems. And then every time you place a new totem, the old one instantly dies and explodes. So that is definitely a build that I'm looking at testing out in this pack. The trouble is with that is that unlike PoE1, nobody knows the numbers about totem life. That it doesn't exist, right? You can just try to look anywhere, like there's just nothing on it. And I was trying to do some testing on it. It's really hard to test this kind of stuff, right? With like proxies and things, how much life they have. So yeah, that is something that I'm interested in, but it could be that it's just really bad, right? Because the numbers are just not there. But yeah.
Right. Well, I know there are a lot of totem enjoyers out there. I saw some people in like my Discord freaking out when they saw the mortar cannon, just like you, Dreamcore, like, and the change with Ancestral War Chief totem, like being able to spawn as many as you can get essentially. That also looks interesting. So that whole play style that was present in PoE1 seems a little bit more evident in PoE2 now, which is cool. People enjoy that.
Now, would you call
like
it
that
totem
change as well,
enjoyer though, if you're causing your totems to explode themselves rather than actually do their totem thing?
Totem haters rise up.
Totem 80, yeah.
Totem haters rise up indeed. I tried to play a totem build once in PoE1. I just couldn't do it. I think I just had that.
I love totems, dude. I love it.
Maybe it's because I played a lot of melee in PoE1, and for the longest time, new PoE1 players won't know about this. Every time you're killing anything, drop your totems, Ancestral War Chief, Ancestral Protector, boom, boom, just over and over. Now I get like a visceral feeling when I think about
He's
totems.
scarred.
I'm like,
scarred for life.
Seriously. Okay, well, all you guys are really hit. All you guys are really cool, because what I'm most excited for, I feel like 90% of the player base is excited for. Hollow palm technique, guys. I think if the numbers are good, if it scales, that looked good, if it feels good and it's powerful, lightning spear of the patch, guys. I mean, this looks insane. Also, the availability of Thunder Fist, that unique pair of gloves that causes lightning to strike down. I mean, come on. I got to get your thoughts on this. They finally put it into the game. You're actually getting a complete chain. You have custom animations for all these different skills. Anybody else excited about this? Lolcohol, did it like pique your interest at all? Are you going to maybe play it at one point?
I would like to. I've got other plans that are just like much safer. I've got a very, very safe league slot, but I want to get crazy afterwards. Like I'm gonna put aside a week just to do the safe league slot, and then it's just time to do dumb stuff like Punch Monk. I've seen some people say like Punch Titan. Yeah. I think it's gonna be sick, man.
I'm hyped.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
Hollow
think
Palm
one of the
looks pretty good.
Yeah, my thought
Go
on the whole hollow palm technique thing is that it feels like it's a stepping stone so that you don't need to invest heavily in a weapon early, but that when you do get a really sublime endgame weapon, you just replace hollow palm technique at that point. That's my vibe at the moment, but I'm very open to being proven wrong on that. Either way, either being proven wrong by it being the best thing all the time is hollow palm technique, or by hollow palm technique being so bad that no one ever wants to use it.
That is all down to how much base damage the gems have, which we have no idea right now. Like
Right.
you get flat added, presumably flat added fizz damage on gems based on gem level, and you only have that if both your hands are empty, right? So that you're then unarmed for those skills. But we don't know what the numbers are, and obviously it's kind of interesting in that you, more so than how you would normally, you kind of want to bolster your gem levels on that kind of build, because like that's your flat damage. So any multipliers you have are scaling off of that. So you want it to be as high as possible, right? Whereas usually you'd have your flat damage on your weapon, and then even though gem levels definitely play a bigger part in PoE2 even for attack builds, but yeah, if it's flat damage, it's quite important.
And you get most gem level from your weapon. So, rip. You know.
Can you imagine how painful it's going to be being level 88 or 89? You already have the resources to trade for a level 20 version of your main gem, but you can't use it until you reach level 90 because of the level requirement. Hollow Palm Technique, that's going to be painful, because I think your gem levels are just going to be, like you say, they will be so important, but they're basically they're gated by your character level. Same thing would be the case at 82, 83 as well. Like you've got the resources to trade for a level 19 gem. You may already have one that you've found yourself, but until you tick 84, you can't use it.
Yep.
There's also the case that Hollow Palm is scaling based on your gear, like the amount of evasion and energy shield you have on your gear, and it's not like the evasion after multipliers. It's just the raw evasion on your gear and raw energy shield on your gear. So, it might not be balanced in a way where it's good in early game. It might just be one of those builds where you want to roll to it later when you have really good gear, right? And you have that gem level scaling, you have the really high defense, body armor, and all the other stuff to go with it, and then it's really, really strong.
Like Energy Blade in one.
Right. That makes sense. I know what you guys are doing. You're trying to dissuade everybody listening and myself from playing, so that when you guys start Hollow Palm Technique, all the gear is cheaper. I know what's happening here, right? You're trying to move markets like Mathel.
Okay. I don't want to have to compete with your economic power when I want to buy a weapon for my Hollow Palm Technique build.
I have immense economic power, Sirgog. Trust me. So much money. Okay. Before, guys, we have so many different topics we want to get into today. We're not going to rehash all the big content additions and the general changes, because at this point they're all talked to death. So we have very specific things we'd like to talk about here. But before we get into all these topics, I also wanted to pose this question to the group, because when I was initially listening to this, I thought, wow, power creep galore. Everyone is getting way more power. Of course, we don't have the exact numbers. We haven't played. But between all the lineage supports, all the tiered support gems that are being added that are just raw power, and all the notables being added, 150 plus notables, 500 plus passives, our characters are probably going to get stronger. Then the patch notes came out, and a lot of targeted nerfs occurred. So I'm curious, you guys, do you think they're going to balance themselves out, or are you more of the mindset that all the additions are going to completely overpower the nerfs? Because I see a lot of dooming of like warriors and maces are gutted, armor builds, evasion and energy shield are top dog. Dreamcore, what do you think about the differential between power loss and power gained with this patch?
It's not really easy to say for sure what's going to
Okay.
happen, because, as I said, we don't really know the passive tree information.
Right.
We're lacking critical information, is how I would describe it. But
did you say this last time? I feel like you said this last time.
yeah, exactly. And last time it was a case that we didn't have any of the gem numbers, and that turned out to be a huge deal, because there was like giant buffs on crossbow skills, for example, that we only knew about a day before launch. And they really were giant buffs as well. Like in some cases, it was like double damage for those crossbow skills, right? But I think overall, there was a lot of nerfs in the patch notes, like a lot of nerfs. And in a way, this patch to me was like, instead of going for the approach that they went for in 0.2, where they wanted to just like add a bunch of content on top of what they already had, in this, even they have added new things in this patch, right? They added Act 4, they've added the mini acts. It looked like they wanted to go for a different approach, where they want to go back to the drawing board with some things and just like look at the foundations of the game and really address them at the core, because there obviously were some things that are just not working, and I do really appreciate that method of much content as you want to the game. But if there are things on the groundwork that are just not working, then people are never going to get to that content and play it and experience it, right? Because they just like burn out too fast or whatever, or something's not. It needs to be like a well-oiled machine, right? You need to actually be able to enjoy the game and get to that place to then enjoy the content and experience it all. So I think overall, it is hard to say right now whether we'll be more powerful in this patch compared to last. My gut says no. I think that overall players are probably going to be about the same or maybe a little bit weaker. But I don't really think that matters if they've done a good job of balancing the curve, right? In terms of like progression, right? If your character doesn't feel like it's getting completely overwhelmed in those situations, and it feels like you're actually able to play around, and they're adding things to address that, like sprint and things like that, right? Then yeah, I think it can work. Absolutely.
I think I disagree quite strongly. I think that overall the power's gone up a lot, because if you look at stuff like they're reducing attribute requirements, there's more suffixes on your gear, mana costs are going to be improved, more clusters on the tree, lineage gems. I think a lot of what I read in the patch notes looked, maybe this is like a perspective. I know that there were big nerfs, stuff like Giant's Blood, which is like, why? But a lot of the stuff I looked at looked like buffs. And not only that, but like improved crafting and all of that, I think adds up to what I think is going to be an overall power boost. And then on top of it, one of the increased challenges is that, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but with map modifiers are now all negative, but there's a bonus. So I imagine maybe loot will feel even better than it did for people who didn't play past like 0.2.1. When did they do that big loot patch?
Mostly 0.020H was the biggest one.
Okay, yeah. Like loot felt so much better after that. And there's also an improved, sorry, I'm a bit
You're
There's
good.
like an improved XP curve on top of that. It should be easier to like jump into like the pinnacle content sooner. So hopefully like farming better items sooner. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But like Dream said, we are dealing with partial information, so you can't say for sure. I think it comes down to maybe like whether you're like leaning on the side of hopeful or tentatively, let's see what happens. Don't get too
It's
excited.
also hard to say, like, relatively with the content that we've got in the game, how difficult it's going to be compared to
That's
0.2,
true.
right? Like, Abyss looked absolutely brutal.
It looks
I think,
brutal.
I think people are going to get absolutely owned in that mechanic. There's going to be rare monsters coming out of those pits that just absolutely own you.
People
Gone,
crying
yeah.
about the witches in Clearfell. I could just imagine the Abyss monsters are just gonna destroy
Oh,
people.
no.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, do people complain about those?
Do you not remember the wolves in Clearfell?
Dude, it's like
People complained
actual
about the
skill
wolves
issue,
in Clearfell.
really?
The Abyss monsters. Oh, they're coming for you. They're gonna get you.
Wow. Okay.
I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
reckon like it'll be generally more powerful, but there will be a couple of outliers that like the very top end of Lightning Spear, for instance, is probably not going to get replicated.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, there goes a massive
Oh,
sneeze.
bless
But
you.
that's one of the things that comes up with the economy of 020 was so destroyed towards the end because you have this sort of hardcore of a few thousand people still playing and just farming so efficiently that they're just able to bury everyone else with their economic power. And this is a trade league thing only, but most people.
Everyone's dying today, guys. It's okay. I can stall.
All right. The
Most
winter boys are struggling. All right,
Ah.
get some Pepsi.
Get the Pepsi in your mouth. You're good. You're
Caffeine,
good.
caffeine good. Oh, wow, that was weird. But the other thing that's of note is Lolcohol mentioned the modifiers on waystones. I'm not sure if that's because in our internal chat I'd put the relevant line of the patch notes, but this is one of the biggest things because one of the consequences of that is that you're going to be taking a lot of smaller amounts of elemental damage that you used to be taking. So, now one of the mods that they listed was 20% of damage added as extra cold. So a monster hits you for 700 fizz. That becomes 700 fizz plus 140 cold damage. Well, they've made a whole bunch of buffs to armor that are generally getting laughed at by people, but actually armor's amazing against a hit of 140 cold damage when you've got like 45% of your armor applying to it. That is like god tier. That's like having Eternal Damnation in Path of Exile 1. And so you're going to be finding that stuff like that is going to be providing kind of indirect defensive power because you're now taking damage. Like the map mods just being a bit less lethal than they used to be is going to make players feel much stronger. So it's hard to know. There's so many different things going on at once.
The thoughtful take. Truly. I mean, Grinding Your Games has completely reinvented the game again. It's kind of wild how with Dawn of the Hunt, with all the the reaction patch, reinvented once. I'd say it's happening again in 0.3. Do you guys think we're gonna see a trend of that happening? Or, I mean, I feel like a lot of people seem to be pleased with all the different additions that they've made. I know 0.4 they've said is going to be endgame revamp. Okay, so maybe just briefly on this, since there weren't a lot of changes, the Infinite Atlas obviously is staying, but they've added a lot more encounters, seemingly. Do you think they're going to keep iterating on that, or do you think they've heard the feedback and are kind of shelving an Atlas, big Atlas shift for maybe 1.0 or something? Or do you think the Infinite Atlas is here to stay forever? What do you guys think?
I'd be a lot more okay with the Infinite Atlas if the explicit modifiers that rolled on precursor tablets were weaker, so that it was less beneficial to hunker down in one area and stack multiple tablets in one spot. If they changed that, if they just flat out 50% nerf to those explicit modifiers on tablets, that would mean that it would feel more viable to just go and explore for cool stuff.
Right.
And then maybe the core of the system's all right. It's just that at the moment, the way that it min-maxes is so anti-fun that's the real problem with it.
Yeah, I think the the Infinite Atlas can work. Like I think there's definitely some glimmers there of it being quite interesting to traverse and find things, different maps and unique maps and things like that, special things that you find in the fog. There are some problems with it. Obviously, towers comes to mind. Maybe they can just get rid of towers and find another way to juice maps. Like I feel like we've already. This kind of goes back to one of my biggest gripes about PoE2 is that they are trying a lot of new things with the game, and I actually do think that's a good thing. Like that's how we got PoE1 right in the first place. All of these experiments with all these crazy league mechanics, some of them worked, some didn't. That's kind of how we got to where we are now. And in PoE2, they're trying a lot of new things. The problem is that some of the things that they're trying have already created problems in PoE1 years ago, and they've then solved those problems. And the solution that they had for those problems is already a pretty good one. Like, for example, the tower problem. Everyone's kind of complaining about towers and how they function. Why don't we just have scarabs? Like, the scarabs were just they were just good. They just worked.
Hear me out. Beetles. How about we get beetles in PoE2? Okay?
Beetles.
You have one, that unique chest.
That's true. That's true. We have that roaming unique chest, which now has a map icon. Pretty cool. They'll have
And it's
unique
just such a
map
cool
icon.
little
it's a good
fight.
change.
Yeah, it
it's-
is. See, stuff like that, I love that they're adding a ton of that in PoE2. I think, Dream, you're right. I really hope that, and I'm really confident, honestly, that Grinding Gear Games knows that's a big problem. They addressed it again in that interview with Ziggy D, where they're like, yeah, towers, bad. Yeah, not having any control over your Atlas, bad. 0.4, baby. And much like they went in and with 0.3 and just addressed character customization and balance, 0.4. That's the focus. It's going to be really interesting to see what they actually do there now that they've had all this feedback and they're not scrambling to make an endgame system, right? So with Dawn of the Hunt, they made some minor changes. This patch, not a ton of changes. If 0.4 endgame is their focus, it's going to be interesting. See what Mark, Jonathan, and the team can cook up. Okay.
I've been thinking about the
Yeah,
whole
go for it.
tower thing. I just want to
Yeah.
pop in.
Do it.
What about, picture this, right? Itemized towers. You find a little tower in your map, and it's like a little mini tower, and then you can craft it with precursor tablets to affect the modifiers, and then you can place it yourself when you want to. So that way you could be like, all right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to just drop this magic tower. It grows up, and then it affects everything in the ring.
Like a
Maybe?
Doesn't that have the same problem though? Of
Maybe
now you're
worse,
looking
yeah,
for the biggest cluster of maps that you can.
But
cover.
that's the thing, exactly, is that you're going to get to the point where you're like, oh, now I need to find like the perfect one that's got like 4 Myers and this. Unless there's some way that they can make it. I think something that could work instead of like the free-flowing system is something more grid-like. If everything was more square, then you could have towers that affect blocks instead of rings. And then you could at least say like that way there's no tower overlaps because no blocks can overlap. And in each quadrant or each block there are the same number of maps which you can then maybe affect with like an orb of horizon. Maybe you can use like an orb of horizon on your tower that is like all maps in region are what's a good map in PoE2?
step.
Sands. Okay, yeah, step. That shouldn't have taken me so long.
Okay.
But it might get to the point where they eventually are just like, you know what? We tried something. And I do think that the Endless Atlas does have potential. If they can somehow get it to the point where there's enough interesting stuff on it, and there's not so much FOMO that you don't feel bad doing one thing instead of another thing because both are good options, then I think it could be really cool. But
I think
I
go for it.
it's hard.
The other thing I think is missing is some equivalent of favored maps from Path of Exile 1. And like in Path of Exile 1, you have this option that you can go, maybe I feel like 60% of my maps being toxic sewers, but then the rest I'll do some other stuff. In Path of Exile 2, there's no real equivalent to that. And something I'd like to see is just have something just called morphic terrain, that if you go into it, it opens a random map that fits in that biome. But at some point in endgame, you unlock the ability to give morphic terrain a very heavy bias towards a particular tile set you like. And I'm generally pretty fine with having a fair bit of variety in maps, and like I unironically like Augury now since they put all of density buffs in it. Augury has gone from a D tier map to like maybe an A tier map. So it's only really Maya that is bottom of the barrel now. A lot of the other ones that are meh still have a place. But yeah, the other thing is that Path of Exile 1 solved the problem of overlaps via applying a limit of 5 scarabs to each map. That limit allows them to solve the problem. And 2 could do something similar, but it would require a bunch of just changing things around. And yeah, that's the issue with towers. Scarabs work better than towers do.
So good thoughts, I think, on towers and all that. As someone who really does not care about towers, my one gripe with the Infinite Atlas is that it's infinite. I'm really curious if they would go up. You could still have the same concept of exploring the Atlas, but I think it would be cool if you could complete or find the edge of your Atlas and then reset it with some sort of cataclysm. So you get that same feeling as in Path of Exile 1 when you complete your Atlas, but maybe you could like repeat it in PoE2 or just keep exploring. Like you could find, imagine it's a few screens out the end of the Atlas, right? But you can find the edge and complete it. And then maybe when you kill the Arbiter, it blows up the Atlas and it restarts and you can like endlessly reset your Atlas or something. I feel like that would be kind of novel, kind of cool. You could keep the exploration feel, but you could also have that feeling of it not being too grand, because right now, like even me, and I only played like 20 hours at endgame, I still have to scroll right all across my Atlas, many screens, and that just feels a little clunky, you know? I like the tight feeling of having a limited amount that you can go out from the start, and you can kind of manage in your head where everything is, especially if you're playing not over 2 weeks, but you're playing 3 months, 4 months. The league's going to be 4 months. Like, by the time you've explored this huge Atlas, you're going to like lose track of where things are. And I know you have the pins and stuff, but there's something about that infinite scroll that's a little rough. What do you guys think about a cataclysm idea? Is that yay or nay? Do you think that would kind of defeat the purpose of the Infinite Atlas?
I think in the current implementation, it's a nay, because you kind of have a bunch of things on your Atlas that you know, I can do this next, I can do that next, and like you're just constantly put the Arbiter off because I still need to do that, I still need to do this, I still got that, right? You'll always be thinking like, if I kill the Arbiter and reset the whole thing, is it going to be better afterwards, or am I going to lose a bunch of notable places that I've already found, right? So
right, everybody's
Like
saying that's
Katarina
last
Imperial
epoch.
one used to be.
I guess it's last epoch. I have no idea. I have not gotten that far in last epoch, so
Yeah, LE has this thing. It's much smaller than what was being talked about there. So in LE, okay, granted, I've only gotten just into empowered monoliths in LE, so I could not know everything. But essentially, you can work outwards until certain bosses can be accessed. Then you fight the act. It's like a mini act, and when you fight the mini act's boss, then you can reset, but do it at a higher tier. So
okay,
in Path of Exile 1 terms, it'd be like you do the entirety of Act 9, except it's at maps, and then when you kill Depraved Trinity, you can then do it again, but instead of being monster level 81, this time it's 81.1, because LA things don't scale up as much.
I see.
And you can keep doing this and keep scaling it, and the rewards are designed to keep scaling without limit, but eventually monster damage scales to a point that you just can't do it.
I see. Okay, that's not what I'm thinking with PoE2. That sounds a little bit more boring, because with the Atlas, there's like so many different possibilities and all the end game maps and everything. So okay, I got that. Okay, cool. Let's move on from the end game talk. I know not a lot have changed in the end game. We were talking about power before and ability to traverse through the game, and one of the big things, Sirgog, you added this in, and you wanted to do a tiering of it. Sprinting, everybody. Sprinting is in the game. 50% increased or more movement speed when you dodge roll, hold spacebar, or whatever your dodge is. Is it a S tier edition, B tier, or D tier edition? Let's start Lolcohol. What do you think? Are you a sprinting fan, or you think this might be a little clunky?
I feel like we're slowly getting back to the point where they're going to be like, let's just put Quicksilver Flask back in the game. Because it's kind of like a Quicksilver Flask is just a sprint button. And I'm happy that they're adding sprint. I've been running some campaign stuff the last couple of days, and there were a couple of times where I was like, man, sprint would be so good right now. And then I run into a pack of monsters. I'm like, ugh, that would have knocked me over. So again, it's the kind of thing where we're gonna have to see, is it going to be really frustrating to use where you constantly getting like some projectile flies off screen and knocks you over and now you get killed? I imagine, I'm glad it's in the game, but I imagine that there might be some changes to the whole knockdown thing, because that could be extremely frustrating if you constantly just getting knocked down, like you get like clipped, or you run over like a ground degen and now you like fall over and now you're rolling around in burning ground and die like that.
Is it only hits? Is it only hits, or is it any damage?
Hit? I don't.
If it's burning ground, I mean, that's going to be patch day 1, I think.
Dude, that'd be epic. Imagine the rip clips on hardcore. Someone just like trips over a stone and then burns to death. I would love it.
I can see like, because there's a lot of different crazy projectiles in PoE2. Like, imagine the monsters that basically do spark and it like just flies everywhere and you sprint. Like, that's gonna hit you. Like, I think the heavy stun might be changed to maybe a light stun or something, or maybe it just. Before I say my thoughts, Dream, Sirgog, what do you?
This is the biggest problem. Like you're just getting onto it there. So I think Sprint is an S tier edition in terms of its usefulness and application. There's no doubt about it. Like, this thing is that's crazy. A crazy edition. It's gonna feel so nice to just be able to boost off with, you know, giga movement speed, traverse barren areas, whatever. Now, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it, like, as a mechanic in the game, but you just started to get onto it there, right? The biggest problem is it going to cause, like, are people just going to hate this mechanic because they're not really paying attention? Like, you really need to pay attention with this mechanic, first of all. Yeah. You have to really be locked in, because if you're sprinting from pack to pack, we already know what it's like, right? There's these little crab monsters, like they're even on the beach, right at the beginning. They're on the beach, they're there waiting for you, right? So if there's those crab monsters and you're running towards them and they just shoot some spikes from off screen, they just hit you, you get knocked down, some monsters swarm you and you just die, right? And there are actually a lot of monsters like that in the game that fire projectiles, or they do like some off-screening jump. Like, I'm thinking of the In Act 2, there's like the
the vultures, right?
My favorite
the vulture
monsters.
things that just jump. They just jump at you, right?
They're my favorite.
I hate
fly at you.
Yeah, so that's I think, and yeah, someone in chat's pointed out sprint is optional, right? So you're supposed to make good use of it, but that is actually the point that I'm making, is that people will probably not make good use of it. And then they'll get knocked over and die, and then they'll complain about it. That's kind of how I see it going. This mechanic, by the way, for very skilled players, it is insane. People will abuse this mechanic like crazy. It is actually, if you know exactly what you're doing, it's so incredibly powerful.
In boss fights, literally every area of the game. I can foresee people who are pinpoint, like Ben, just being able to precisely avoid everything in bosses. It's probably going to trivialize a lot of stuff.
Boss fights are like the best example, because once you've learned a boss fight and you know what the boss can do, you also know that when you can and can't get hit, right? So you will absolutely abuse the sprinting mechanic to get out of the way of things, reposition yourself better to deal more damage. Like, there's so many use cases where it's really strong. I just think it's going to cause a lot of grief. Like, I think people are going to get really annoyed with it very quickly. But we'll see. Also, I want to just mention something. Like, I heard there's a stat that gives you increased evasion while you're sprinting. Now, what that says to me is evasion functions fully while you're sprinting, which means you can evade incoming attacks, right? So that is another huge bonus to evasion, by the way. Just point that out. Giant bonus to evasion, because most of the things that are going to hit you off screen or whatever are projectiles. Like the things that are going to come in and hit you before you can react are projectiles, and evasion already works for projectiles. So that is quite strong. Like if you just have evasion, the chances of you actually getting hit and getting knocked out of it, right? So,
Right. Yeah, it's.
I mean, I assume block will work as well, but there's a lot of builds that might not have either of those, and they're at a bit of a disadvantage.
I thought I heard Jonathan say that blocking still counts as getting hit. Did I mishear that, guys?
It does still count as getting hit, but I wonder if the hit needs to deal damage to you to actually like knock you.
We're gonna
knock
find
you down.
out. We're gonna find out. I think it still knocks you down.
Dude, if that's the case, that is wild. Because I mean, someone at GGG, I don't know who it is. Like maybe it's Jonathan. Someone just loves evasion. They just love it. They're like, like we have to convince everyone that evasion's the worst defense, and then like we're gonna buff it like crazy.
Everyone's wondering where that line came from. It did not start until Jonathan went to China, and he talked to all these Chinese influencers, and they were like, evasion is the worst stat in the game. It's the worst defense.
The Chinese player base consider armor better than evasion in 0-2-0.
Yep. Yeah, so that ever since that happened, that interview...
In a vacuum, that makes sense. If you play a pure evasion character, right, with just life, pure evasion, just life, no other defense, and you get hit, you die. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Now, if you play an armor character and you get hit by fizz damage, you're mostly going to be fine, okay? However, not in a vacuum, that is not true. Because evasion, when combined with other defenses, is extremely powerful, right? The problem with evasion in PoE2 is that you need hit pool to back it up. The whole idea of evasion is you don't actually have mitigation, you have avoidance. So the more hit pool that you have, the stronger that avoidance becomes. It's the same with any type of avoidance. Which is why evasion and energy shield has been so strong, because you combine the two, you get a huge hit pool. Any hit that does come through, you're able to absorb it, right? The same can't really be said for, on the left side of the tree, like
Armor ES is a combo.
Armor ES, right? Because what happens with Armor ES is you get chunked and you can never ever restore the energy shield or something like that. The right side of the tree has things like Ghost Dance and Wind Dancer, ways to actually recover your energy shield, right, without having to rely on anything else. So yeah, that I understand where that comment actually came from. It's definitely from in a vacuum of evasion being used as a pure, this is my only defense on a life character, 100%. But that's just not how Path of Exile is played. I'm sorry. That's just like, if you look at how people are making the strongest characters in the game, how they're optimizing their defenses, they're not just going to take one defense if it doesn't work for them, right? If it doesn't work, they're going to mix and match, make things that are stronger, basically.
Yeah. The problem was that there wasn't that mitigation layer for evasion builds, and then you were forced to instead compensate by going for a bigger health pool. So you had that to back it up. So I think that's why it was frustrating, because you could try and like go hybrid armor evasion or something like that. At least left side of the tree, their avoidance layer, they can spec into block and then have mitigation from armor, max res, that kind of stuff. Whereas I do feel like there was a missing mitigation layer for evasion that everyone just compensated by getting energy shields. That's why everyone's evasion energy shield.
Yeah. The thing is now is how accessible is deflect going to be, right? This is one of the really crucial parts of balance in this upcoming patch, is how accessible is deflect. The patch note says that the deflect modifiers are going to appear on dexterity bases. Now that, in the wording, also includes a hybrid gear. That includes hybrid gear. Is it going to be pure dex bases or is it hybrid gear? That's a really important distinction, right? If it's only evasion bases, pure evasion bases, I actually think that deflection is quite a good addition. If it's both, I'm not convinced that it's a great addition, because I think it pushes people more towards that same archetype that was really strong last patch.
And it will be super strong. It'll be ridiculously strong. Yeah. So I totally agree with you.
The other thing that's going to be really funny with it is that that evasion and deflection both have the same weakness, and that is monsters that have augmented accuracy as a monster mod. And it's kind of going to be like the way that if you've ever played an armor plus block character in Path of Exile 1, there is a map mod that just crushes you. It's 40% reduced chance to block, 30% less armor. And this is just like the most smashing thing, especially if you're playing Aegis Aurora or something. It's like, oof, real punch to the guts. And this is like the right-hand side version of that is going to be, oh, this monster has rolled, I'm unusually accurate, and therefore it can pierce both your deflection and your evasion more effectively at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
Back on Sprint, I think it's an absolutely ingenious idea from GGG, because the issue with things like Quicksilver Flasks is that bosses have to be designed around the assumption you have them. And that's why Uber Shaper in Path of Exile 1 has 1100 milliseconds to get off the screen when he activates his slam. Granted, you can tank that, but when the content was designed so that it was intended to be a dodge or die move. It's not a dodge or die move in practice, but that was the intention. You have 1100 milliseconds to leave the entire screen. That's because you've got so much mobility in 1. In 2, if you're going to have the same thing, it would be like the base shaper, which is 1700 milliseconds to get halfway across the screen. And that would feel dicey, but very doable. The base shaper slam in 2. And that sort of difference, because they've made it so that it's got some genuine weaknesses, you can't just recklessly use it. It's going to address all of the out of combat movement speed problems, but I do think it needs some minimum threshold of damage to trip you up. I don't know what that threshold should be. It might be an accumulated 8% of your total health and ES pool. It might be a total 12%, something so that trivial hits don't knock you down. Maybe it goes up to the point of needing a savage hit. Maybe you just take 60% more damage while you're sprinting, and you also fall over if you get savage hit. Any of these sorts of things. I don't know what the right number is, but I do think that getting clipped by a projectile shouldn't be a heavy stunt.
Maybe they could maybe this is too complicated, but if it's a small hit, you just lose the sprint and you go back into normal walking. The medium-sized hit, light stun, and if it's a massive hit, heavy stun. I don't know if that's too complicated and they just want one solution for getting hit, but I think it's going to get changed in some way because of what you guys all touched on. I think a lot of people are going to be frustrated because they're not going to understand, like, oh my goodness, this is extremely punishing, and they'll continue to do it after they get punished because we know this is what players do, and they're going to complain about it. I don't know how they're going to change it, though.
At some point, that is just like the game. If the game doesn't apply consequences to extremely poor play, then it just comes across as really patronizing. I don't know if people have played retail World of Warcraft's first 5 levels in any, I don't know how long ago it was that I did it, but it just felt so patronizing. It's like, I know we are the game designers. We know you're really, really stupid. So we're going to hold your hand and put you through all of these things. And it just, I would have quit the game then if I hadn't been recommended that this actually gets better. And I don't know what it's like now, but it just felt like they're treating you with utter contempt when it's like that heavy on the kid gloves. I don't think it's necessarily, there'll definitely be times that you want the kid gloves, but there's also times when it's just insults the intelligence of your player base to do it.
You put that so well. I like being treated like I have some modicum of intelligence by the game developers. Just insert things that help me out, like the keyword system and examples of the gems, and that's great. But yeah, I totally agree on that point. By the way, retail, I saw, brief tangent, did they add an auto player in WoW recently? Like an in-game add-on, or was I baited into a video? Anybody know?
I have no idea about
WoW. No idea.
I literally have zero idea about WoW.
Chat will tell me, and I'll remove that because that's not suitable for a Path of Exile 2 podcast. Okay. Wow. That was a good discussion on Sprint. I think the next topic that we really want to talk about is going to spawn an even better discussion. Asynchronous trading. Okay. We all know what's coming in. We all know what it does. I think some of us are excited. I know one of us probably isn't because they play hardcore solo self, or you don't play hardcore solo self-found in PoE2, do you, Dreamcore? Not yet?
No, I think I'm going to play trade this league.
You're going to play trade. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sirgog, this is another question posed by you. Let's actually kick it off with you. Will asynchronous trade eliminate the, love this word, scourge of bad faith trade actors, or simply Force them to change. Love that word choice, dude. It's excellent. What do you think is going to happen? What's your prediction, Sirgog?
So the answer is no, it will not eliminate it. It will change it. And I kind of don't want to disclose the methods I've come up with whereby I used to play EVE Online and used to have quite a bit of communication with people involved in scamming there. And so you learn a lot of the tricks. And basically, I can think of several things whereby you can lay traps for an unexpected buyer. And there's going to be a bunch of that going on. I kind of don't want to disclose the exact attack vectors because they're not really things that would get patched by GGG. And I just want to think long and hard about whether it's advantageous for the whole player base to know this or not, because there are some bad faith actors that will not think of these things. And then there are some bad faith actors that will think of them. And you've just got to sort of balance, like, does increasing people's diligence make things better or make it more likely that they're not going to get there? Or is it just going to mean more people scamming? But yeah, like a lot of the stuff that happens in one is really bad. But I'll give an example of something that would only apply in Path of Exile 1. Let's say the Doctor is valuable in a league. Like, let's say it's a Headhunter-friendly league and the Headhunter is 64 Divines. And this is in Path of Exile 1 only. You would place in one Doctor card at 8 Divines. And then immediately to the right, you would place a Nurse card at 8 Divines. What happens when someone goes to your your regex window and types Doctor in there? Oh, it highlights both of them. So you control click the Doctor card and then you control click the Nurse card as well. And then you realize, oh, I just paid 8 Divines for a Nurse. And for those of you that don't play Path of Exile 1, like 8 copies of the Doctor trades in for the unique item Headhunter and 8 copies of the Nurse trades in for the Doctor card. So basically, you can end up really burning people with that. That's just one example, but there's things that would apply to PoE2 that I've thought of as well. That, yeah, basically, there's going to be a bunch of problems that will come up like that. I kind of don't want to disclose the reproduction details in here.
Apologies for swearing, but that sounds like some... When you were initially describing it, it was sounding like some mafia level shit, okay? Like, you were like, oh, there's some bad stuff that's going to go down. Like, I almost felt like, is my account going to get compromised? Like, am I going to get stuck in someone's hideout? But that, I mean, that's really malicious. I never even thought of ideas like that, but a lot of people in the chat are really appreciative, Sirgog. So they're going to really engineer some crazy, crazy crap with their merchants in PoE2. Oh my God. I got to watch out. Yeah, because
I'll come back with something funny at the end as well once you've done the other twos. Because like I've got something that's toxic that you can do that's not scammy. It's just like funny toxic.
Oh, okay.
As a bit of a troll, I would definitely find it funny.
Okay. Dream, Lolcohol, what do you guys think about async trade? And the possibility of scammers?
Lolcohol can go first because he plays trade a lot more than I do.
No, it's brilliant. I think one of the most frustrating things is just people... Dude, there's so many people who are too lazy to unlist old tabs, that they put stuff in that like dump tab on day 2 and they just don't unlist it. Like it would take you 3 seconds, just take it out, dude. And I've always hated those people. I guess now we don't have to deal with them anymore. But what was the other thing? That is super nice. Also, not having to give my items to my friends to sell overnight. Amazing. Hopefully fewer scams, not having to leave your maps. It's something that we should have had in the game for a long time. And another thing that's been super weird with PoE2 is that there was a long established trade etiquette, that PoE1 players were all familiar with, that suddenly went out the window with PoE2 because there were just like hundreds of thousands of people who hadn't been involved in that economy and learned that etiquette and started doing weird stuff like increasing prices after you message them or haggling. In PoE1 this league, there was so much haggling. I've never seen it. Every single time someone wanted to buy an item, they would undercut it. They'd be like, hi, 20 div less than you had it listed for. I'm like, no, what is wrong with you? Like, no one did that stuff. But then PoE2 came out and all these people started misbehaving or like coming to your hideout when you're trying to buy it. So I'm hoping this just establishes like a standard where you don't actually have to deal with people
All right,
in general.
I am gonna defend haggling, and you're gonna hate my guts, Lolcohol. That's one of the cool parts about PoE's trade system is trying to haggle, because you'll be surprised if you're like, I'm talkative, try, and they'll be like, oh my god, 5 div. No, I'm just kidding. But like haggling is fun. I've done that before. Like where I'm like, oh, you got this listed for like a few div. How about I throw in this currency out because I didn't have div, right?
That's fine.
I do stuff like that. That's fun. But
if it's polite.
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's polite. I've
Yeah.
had a few people who are like, hi, would you, I see you have this item. Would you mind taking like 5 div less, like 5% less or 10% less?
I'm a
Smiley
girl.
Face.
I'm a girl.
Isn't there
Here's
a
my
feature for
approval.
that? Like, isn't there a
Yeah,
feature that already exists for
negotiate.
that, where like you can list it as exact price or like I don't know what the other thing is. Like, there's a
Negotiable?
drop down, right?
Negotiable.
Yeah, negotiable, exactly. So
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is. Like, just use your eyes and read, and if it says exact price, you're not negotiating.
Yeah.
That's the end of, right?
I've never
Like,
used
that's
it.
how it works.
I've never
You
used
know it.
negotiable.
But I don't mind if it's a genuinely decent offer and you're polite, it's okay. But there are so many people who would just message you and then immediately message you afterwards with like 45% question mark, or like a 100 div item and they're like 50 div question mark. You're like, no. No. Go away.
Welcome to a way of making 50 div an hour if you can convince people to do that and then you resell it.
Boom.
Oh no.
Boom. What you do. Some people fall for it. Telling you.
Yeah.
Done
So
it before.
So I'll just talk about the trade thing from my perspective.
Oh, yeah.
I don't usually play trade. One of the things I'm excited about for that, because I like playing SSF in PoE1 because I think PoE1 has a bunch of systems that are really fun for SSF. I don't think PoE2 is quite there yet, but it's going to get there. The whole idea of being able to like just drop an item in a box and like it gets sold while I'm playing is that I get to spend less time in my hideout, right? I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want to sit in my hideout trading. I'm sorry, that's not the type of player I am. That's why I don't play trade, right? So I think that is really cool option for just if I just want to, I just find a cool item. I'm not going to use it. But just whack it in there. I'll make use of the currency at some point, and that's just more time spent in maps, actually playing the game.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, in PoE1, like I just came back after a couple of days off because I play the game on the day of patch notes release, and was like, oh cool, I've got 57 of this rare scarab that I wanted sitting in my Faustus inbox. It's like, yep, that's nice. That I'd forgotten I'd placed the buy order for it, but great, I'll use those over the next while. That's a whole bunch of maps worth, and that's one of those things that just cuts down on the amount of wasted time while you're playing. Previously, 157 of the same mythic rarity scarab, like that's gonna be a bunch of trading under the old system, and it'll be a bunch of pinging people, and they're like, oh sorry, already sold, and all sorts of other rubbish like that. Now it's gone, but there will of course be teething problems, and those teething problems will be the new ways that people will use these to scam things, because the Mathel effect is going to get out of control in PoE2. The first time someone makes a build with a very, very rare but off-meta unique, like what was one of the mythic rarity unique that no one really uses, Wings of Aerospane's Wings. Like this thing is potentially quite good, but no one's really done much with it. If you were to go and say, hey, make a build on stream that uses Aerospane's Wings, but you've already just bought 75 of them off the market, and if your build isn't terrible, then suddenly you could end up making a lot of currency out of that, and that's going to be one of those problems that's going to come up. And the other thing though is flashbanging people. Like this is a PoE1 thing. This is just trolling. This is just for fun. And honestly, this probably should be bannable if you do it really obnoxiously. Synthesis lights are a decoration that you can get in Path of Exile 1. They're free. They don't do very much unless you put like 50 of them in one place, and then they just cause this burning white light in the center of the screen. And there is a limit of 750 hideout decorations in Path of Exile 1. What you can do is you can put all of the things that are functionally important in one corner, and then in the other corner, you can put your trade NPC, and you can just bury them in synthesis lights, and you never go there. However, anyone comes in to get maybe that Venter's Gamble that you've listed for 30% below regular market price, and boom, flashbang off the charts. Maybe it even ends up crashing their PC, which hopefully, like, that's actually toxic and should be bannable if people do that. But
I'm going back to SSF.
See, right? Oh my gosh. People are gonna get crazy with the hideouts. We got the Jonathan Middle Finger, that girl hideout. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure she has a name, like the Waypoint Girl. Oh my god. People are gonna make insane hideouts with this and put their merchant right in a compromising position in the hideout. Oh, okay.
yeah, the sort of the R-rated hideouts.
The R-rated hideouts.
Dude.
Hey.
And then you can, that's so troll, because you could also deliberately underlist an item, like price fix a headhunt for like 1 divine when it's in fact worth a lot, and then you just have like 500 people in your hideout damaging their CPUs. That's awesome.
You only need to be 1 cheaper than everything else, than fair market. You don't need
Yeah.
to drop it at 1 when it's 50. You list it at 49 when it's 50.
I mean,
right,
you could
right,
already
right,
crash the
because it
game
would
with
sell,
Volcanic Fissure,
right.
right? In this patch, you could already like spam Volcanic Fissure with Aftershocks and crash the game. Like you could easily just list. You could easily just list something cheap. Just stand on your merchant. Just Volcanic.
This side of stuff should actually be bannable. It's very hard to report, but it's the sort of thing that this. If you find someone doing this in an actually toxic manner, not like, oh, that was annoying, but it's an actually toxic thing, try to find a way to report them.
Yeah.
Now,
when I learned about asynchronous trade, maybe I'm just so far gone. I instantly thought about the MTX possibilities for merchants. I mean, can you imagine like an Einhar merchant or something, or a Kadiro merchant, where every time you talk to them, they have all these different voice lines? Maybe like a moving merchant. Right now it's a stationary. Maybe they could like have a scripted like character moving throughout. I thought that would be cool instead of just a stationary. The girl that they have is the merchant. I don't know if you saw in the presentation, but like very low quality model. You guys see that?
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah,
Oh,
I
she was
didn't
like,
notice that.
It was like really
Didn't notice that the
blurry.
model was-
Like it's
Oh,
probably
really?
like the worst model I've ever seen in PoE2. Just the actual character model. I'm not kidding. It's like they flung
That's
it in there at
deliberate,
the last
dude.
moment.
There it is. The conspiracy is right there. They're selling. You heard it here first, guys.
It is
Merchant MTX next patch.
It is so bad. I almost want to get it up on screen so I can show you guys, but it's really bad. Maybe I'll find it after while you guys are discussing our next topic. Which
God, imagine a toucan merchant. Like if they wanted
toucan
to
merchant. There you go.
Yes.
Right.
I would
Like
buy that.
A Krilson merchant. A Krilson merchant. You fly in, or you get Chris back in the offices. He records a whole bunch of voice lines for a Krilson merchant. They would print money. Like, I don't know what to say. Do it, GGG. 3 ideas. Okay. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to share on trade? There's probably going to be a lot of abuse cases. It's going to be huge quality of life. I'm sure it's going to be jank. I talked to my boss yesterday about it because he's like a blaster of PoE2. He like watches Flupgun and Brew and all that. Yeah, and he's my boss. So cool stuff. But he was just thinking like, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many abuse cases. There's going to be so many issues with people sniping items and everybody loading in at once. And when the market changes now, like not scalpers, but people who are really keen on watching the market are going to buy up items immediately now. And people are going to have no time to react and maybe lose out on a bunch of stuff. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? Like as the game progresses, that's something I thought about. Now when people stop playing, right?
Market swinginess has gotten really substantially more intense since 325 in Path of Exile 1 on the things that go on Faustus. So, like for instance, there was a period early in this league where Hornscarab Bloodlines, where it went from 16 to 60 chaos in a very short period of time. And that change would have happened. It was driven by organic demand. But if it was in Path of Exile 1 in 324 that the demand went up like that, it might have taken a full weekend to sort of triple and three-quarters the price. But in 326 era or even 325, that sort of flip can happen really quickly. I think we really saw that in 2 actually, with when the bottom fell out of the Exalt market. And that just flowed through really fast from memory. Like I think it went from it's like 240 exalts to the divine to 800 in a day. I think it was. Could be wrong on that. That would have still happened because exalts are worthless at endgame in Path of Exile 2, but they're very useful early on, and so there is a genuine fall off in demand. It's like alchemy orbs and binding orbs in Path of Exile 1. Really useful day 1. It's just that fall off happens later in 2, but it happened in a day. Whereas before automated trade, it would have happened slower.
Right.
And yeah, this is the price we pay for convenience. It's like
Exactly.
it's convenient for us. It's as people who play the game primarily and don't necessarily do a lot of flipping, but it's also that convenience can be weaponized by flippers, and it's good and bad, but I think it's going to be a net positive.
Wait, very exciting. Just like this, I don't know if anybody has any notes on it. It's just a cool thing. It's an exciting thing. Obviously, Act 4 is coming to the game with the interlude acts. I guess we could kind of skim over Act 4. Looks interesting. It's completely freeform. The interlude acts. How does Grinding Gear Games find the time? What is going on? Are they like the kings of asset reuse? This is so insane that instead of just finishing 5 and 6, they're like, we're going to put in three brand new mini acts. You know, like, how do they keep getting away with this? This is crazy stuff.
It's so clever, man. It's so clever. This is the kind of thing that players are good at identifying problems, but not solutions. And I think even though, yeah, they do make mistakes here and there, but they definitely have some very clever, creative people working there, because I've seen so many ideas for, oh, what should they do if they only release Act 4, but not 5 and 6? Once they showed this, it seemed so obvious, but I didn't see a single person suggest it anywhere. And
Sure.
that's why I'm hesitant for people to say, oh, just like delete towers, delete the end game. I think if you have the right person who's smart enough, creative enough, willing to take risks, you could, if you just scrap it, you could be missing out on some interesting opportunities by just defaulting. It does get to a point where you eventually go, okay, like that system was better. Let's go back to that. But this thing in particular with the interlude, I felt like was a really good example of them being clever and often being smarter than the people who are making suggestions about what needs to be done when they don't actually know.
True.
There's my little glaze. I'll send
Nice
them a check
glaze.
for $50 for that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't muted.
Yeah, and from what I understood too, none of the like new bosses that are going to be in the interludes, I don't think they're from Acts 5 or 6. They're just bosses that I think they had kind of ready to go that they could have put in the end game, but they're using them as interlude bosses, and now they're also going to be in the end game. They're going to be a little bit more complicated too, because eventually they're just going to be end game bosses only. I think that's how Jonathan and Mark both framed it, which is also pretty interesting. That means when Act 5 and 6 eventually do come out, they're still going to be fresh as ever. So, pretty exciting. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's like Path of Exile 1 if they'd gone, all right, well, we're working on patch 2.4 at the moment, which introduced the Shaper and the 4 Shaper Guardians. And they're like, oh, we need to have something else after the end of Act 4. Well, why don't we just put in a mini encounter against the Guardian of the Chimera? And, you know, that's just another one against Guardian of the Phoenix or whatever. Chimera was cool back then. It's aged the worst, but it was cool back then.
It was.
And
that makes sense, actually. It was probably a little bit more difficult, right? Like an actual struggle as the waves came at you, versus now it's just delete, 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 you know, and you wait. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like those bosses took sort of 90 seconds to burst from full to dead on a powerhouse build.
Wow. Hour creep. Oh my goodness. Crazy. I can't even fathom that. And
you had to dodge their skills too.
Oh,
like you actually had to play the Minotaur slams. You'd be like, a tanky character could eat a Minotaur slam as long as it didn't crit. But if it crit, you were in for a world of hurt. You probably wanted to run behind it.
Dream, did you have any thoughts on the axe, or did you want to move to a little endgame topic?
I think they would have been a fair bit of work. Because they did like the animations for the bosses and things like that. You know, like the Curse of Holton had like the two. I assume that's the bosses of the act, right? Like dancing with each other and they had all the dialogue and stuff like that. I mean, obviously they're going to reuse that stuff as like an intro to that boss when you find it in the end game further down the line when we actually have all the acts. So it's not like it's going to go to waste.
Right.
But this is definitely a good solution because repeating the acts was not good. And, you know, especially because they adding Act 4, like, what are you going to repeat, right? You're going to have, like, are you going to do 1 and 2 again? It's just really weird. So, I like it. It's a good addition.
How about the story, Dreamcore? You released a good couple speculation videos about edicts and everything. I think you correctly predicted that the Third Edict was the weapon. I didn't even think of that. Was that you or was that somebody else?
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
You?
That was I'm trying to think now. Someone said that. I'm trying to think who it was.
Who was it?
I know what you're referring to. Who was that you said that?
I don't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't Kit and Cat Noodle. Who the heck thought it was the weapon?
Someone said it was the name of the weapon.
Somebody's really, really smart, whoever that person is. If you know,
I'm trying to remember who that was that said that now, but I can't remember.
Good call out. It was the weapon. They revealed that in the trailer. Do you have any thoughts about the story or where we'll end up at the end of Act 4? Are we gonna?
I think there's a curious line in the patch notes that says that you not Doryani, the hooded one can no longer be invited to your hideout, no longer appears in your hideout, right? So
Rip.
Is he going to abandon us at the end of Act 4? Is he going to die? I don't know.
Get corrupted? Right? My crackpot theory is Sin is the final boss of Path of Exile 2.
That would be pretty cool, yeah.
Inside,
cool, yeah.
like, because spoiler. You guys okay with like data mine spoilers? It might have changed. Everybody good here?
Is it lore based?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Spoilers, guys. We'll stop talking about it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the final few areas of Act 6 are apparently called the Path of Exile and the Belly of the Beast and stuff. So literally, Path of Exile 2's ending could be us fighting Sin in the belly of the new beast and finally stopping all this for good. It'd be pretty cool. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good, Lolcohol. All right.
I thought I was okay with spoilers. I heard you say the last few areas of Act 6. I was like, actually, no, I don't want to. I don't want to spoil.
Could completely change,
I thought I was
dude.
okay with it.
Could completely change, yeah. So
yeah, it could also be hoax information that's put in there too.
True.
It's like they had all the hoax information in 3.5 that was just that looked like it was some really convoluted thing, but it was just a tribute to a band that one of the developers liked.
It's exciting regardless, and it sounds like they're confident now. Jonathan has hopped off the hopium train. They're not releasing 1.0 in 2025. He thinks that as long as people are pleased with the balance, sounds like March or August of next year, they think they'll have all the acts and go into 1.0. They have changed the definitions of full release, by the way. We could probably talk about that for a brief moment. Full release has 2 things that need to be done. All the acts need to be in the game for full release, and the vibes need to be good with the player base. I'm not even kidding you. That is what Jonathan, he said it to me, Destin, maybe DM, I don't quite remember. But that's literally what they need to do. So I'm a little curious. Do you think the vibes are ever going to be 100% set up with the player base? Like, he wants to make sure basically the game is in a good spot. Like, is it ever going to be? It's Path of Exile. Like, everyone's always going to have a problem. I think, will they be able to let go and release the game? What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know what does that even mean? What even is that? I don't know.
You know, like, how
the other, yeah. I mean, I know what it means, but I'm just saying, like generally, right? In terms of their internal interpretation of the vibes are good. Surely it's going to mean player retention, how much money they're making from supporter packs in any given league, right? These kind of things are going to be the indicator for whether the vibes are good or not. So. You know, that's just, and obviously we're gonna have all the story acts are gonna come into the game, and they're gonna want to test them for at least 1 patch.
Jonathan actually said, Act 6 they might drop with 1.0. Ooh.
That makes the most sense.
It does.
That was how I thought they were gonna do that.
Yeah,
because like, even though the whole idea of testing it makes a lot of sense to me, because they want it to be like a good a good product when it does actually get released. But
Right.
you kind of want to capitalize on them adding Act 6 and like having the complete campaign. Like that probably should be the 1.0 patch when that comes out, because it's the first time you can say the whole campaign's complete. You know, play it from start to finish, no interruptions, no weird like redoing acts or things that don't really fit in quite right. So yeah, that makes sense to me that will be the 1.0 release. I don't think it's going to be March next year. I'm sorry, that's absolute copium.
I agree.
It's probably going to be.
I think December.
I think it's going to be December. Yeah.
I think it's going to be December. I know that he's accepted, not this year, but August or March. I think December. I think we're about a year and 4 months away from the full release, and that's the new yearly supporter pack. It all lines up, you know. It really does. So
yeah.
They just
I
must
could
be
see them going.
careful. Yeah, go ahead. So go. Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. I was just gonna quickly say they must just be careful not to add too much stuff to the game before full launch, because then you might end up in a situation where you've had like 2 years worth of updates, and then you have a whole swarm of new people coming in and overwhelmed. So they might be thinking about that, which might lead them to launch a bit sooner with slightly less. But yeah. Okay. So go.
So yeah, I think that August is the most sensible time for them. So basically now plus 12 months.
Oh.
And that's because I think that the December supporter packs will do better with enfranchised players, and some of the people that they pick up in the growth period from the sort of full launch and going fully free to play, some of those might end up becoming like really enfranchised players during that 4 months. And so you're not going to sell a 480 US or even a 240 US supporter pack to someone that's new. Not very often anyway. That is going to be the people that feel like, I have already played this game 300 hours, and so I'm already happy with it. They're the ones that are going to buy those high packs. And even the $100 and $160 packs would be somewhat like that. The other thing that I think is not really coming up here, for me, I feel like the game is in full release when they've got a workable endgame. Doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. When they've got 12 classes or maybe 11 with one that's acknowledged it's out because it's having real problems, and when they've got 6 acts. But I feel like 1.0 will come before that.
Yeah.
And 1.0 will be when they go free to play. It could be April, it could be August, it could be December. It's definitely not going to be this December. But one of the next 3 releases after that, I feel, is likely.
Yeah, I think that's sensible. They've changed the terms. You know, it's not all classes anymore. It's just the acts, and it's the game being in a good spot. So hopefully they manage it.
It's going to be ExileCon in November, and December next year is going to be the full release.
Oh,
That's my prediction.
If there's an ExileCon, are you guys going to buy tickets? Are you guys going to go? What? Lolcohol, come on. What?
Dude, it's so expensive.
It is mega expensive. Yeah, it is.
I don't even want to look. I haven't looked.
It's much more reasonable for me, but it's like the problem is that it means that I can't cover it as well, because like I actually think I did much better coverage of 23 ExileCon than I did of 19. 19 I was there. 23 was doing it remotely, and you can actually cover things much better. That said, I'll probably go if there is one in 26.
I will see you there. I'm gonna go too, dude. 100%. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna save up all my work money or the YouTube money, whatever. I'm gonna make it there somehow. And Sirgog, your coverage of 2019 was excellent. First Path of Exile video I've ever seen that wasn't GGG. Your ExileCon coverage videos, though.
I remember those videos. Wait, you're standing outside next to some like concrete wall or something like that.
Terrible.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Terrible sound. Watched every video. Okay.
I also still have my card game from it. I've found it recently, and it's.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, very nice. Is that a pack? That's pretty cool. Oh, is the camera gonna fit? Nope. It's blurring it out.
No.
It's an amulet. It's an amulet, right? That's what is it? It's not a sea glass.
Amulet? Feels like we're playing a game now.
Is it?
It is marble, but I don't think that sea glass existed at the time. I just can't make these work. But they look like MTG cards, but they're yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's another before we hop into some of the more Sirgog topics. I threw this in here based on some stuff that Jonathan said in some of the interviews. He once again reiterated that testing for the new Path of Exile patch consisted of playing through the campaign, playing a little bit of endgame, and then restarting on another character. How do you guys think that all these changes, predictions, are going to play out in the endgame? And I'm talking about late endgame, something that most of us here will probably reach. That's tier 15, tier 16 maps and beyond. Do you guys think that they are testing these in the endgame? And if they aren't, should they? Should they care about what's going on in the endgame, right? Like the deep endgame right now? Or do you think that comes once they have the basis, that the campaign and the initial endgame good to go?
They must be testing it, right? But there's occasionally a few instances where I'm like, there's no way that this was tested. One for me was like the expedition crafting. I'm like, there's no way anyone has actually ever used this, because it would not be this bad. But there's got to be someone. They have to be testing it, right? Sirgog?
Yeah, so I think that the big mistake they made with 020, the reason that it went so badly was that they tested things in act by act. So it would be start a character at the beginning of Act 1, run through Act 1, that's the end of that character. Then when you want to test Act 2, you start a character in Act 2, and they don't realize that there's this gear deficit that's building up over time unless you kind of really know what you're doing, and then you can get around it. So I feel like they're correcting for the mistakes that were made in 020, but at the same time, you kind of have to have a small amount of testing at least of endgame. I don't think you necessarily need to test every single skill at endgame, but you do need to. You'll have a sense of which ones feel like they're potentially really exploitable. There's some resources that you spend that, like the cadence of receiving them changes substantially throughout the play period. Like, you think, for instance, if you're expending frenzy charges on a huntress in Act 1, you start out by getting them from parrying, and then later on you get them from more efficient sources like combat frenzy. And then later on, there's better and better ways of doing it. So you have to have a sense of where these breakpoints are for skills, and just be aware of what the play feels like just before and just after these jumps. And that's kind of hard to do for every single skill. I don't know that they're I feel there's going to be mistakes, and this is where mid-league balance changes could fix things, but they're so adamant about not doing them.
Yeah. Are they actually gonna do some changes this league? Not nerfs. I'm not nerfs. I more so mean like skill balance. Do you guys think they're gonna do it in October or so, or like maybe before the big Path of Exile 1 patch? Because I think Sirgog has a point there. A lot of the bad feeling stuff could probably be brought up just a little bit and feel a lot better.
I think the closer it gets to the end of the league, or when I say the end of the league, by the way, I mean the end of the PoE2 cycle, and then the PoE1 cycle starting, right? Obviously, a lot of people actually still play PoE2 and carry on throughout the PoE1 cycle because they don't play PoE1. But the closer it actually gets to that, the less likely they are to make those huge balance changes, because they're just going to roll it into the next patch. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before in the previous patch, and I think indeed some of the smaller patches before that, is that this kind of this way of going about it is definitely stunting the progress of the game, because it's you can't really. They're only getting really crucial information from players testing the game once every 2 months, right, or once every 4 months. So if they make those really important balance changes sooner, and in a patch where people are actually going to react to them, they can get more data that way. The way it's happening at the moment is they kind of only get the information once or maybe twice if they do a patch 1 week into the league which nerfs some things, which is what they did. They did that in 0.2, right? It wasn't really heavy nerfs or whatever, but it was some nerfs which have made people change their build. I mean, I don't think they're going to change their stance on this. I think that it sounded pretty much like they were set in stone on that they don't want to nerf people heavily. Yeah. I don't think to be clear, I don't think they need to nerf people heavily. If the build is really out of control, then bringing it down to a reasonable level is fine, because the build should still be good, right? That's the key point there is. Perhaps they were a bit heavy-handed before. I don't think they were, by the way, in the changes that they made initially, but it still got a pretty big reaction. And the trouble is, when some creator is making a build and a bunch of people are following, the natural reaction to that is that when that thing gets nerfed, the creator reacts first, right, and decides what they're going to do. Then the people that are following that build guide follow them. And by the time the people that follow the build guide have reacted and followed the creator, all of the prices of the items and stuff on the market have all inflated. Like it's like a chain reaction thing, and that's what was causing the sort of unrest, as it were. Like people just didn't really like that. Like they're basically following the carrot sort of thing, So I'd like to see more balance changes, but I don't think they're going to do like really big changes.
Yeah, I see some people saying they should do a public test realm. I'm very anti public test realm. I think that would ruin like the mystique. Yeah, just the joy of PoE and like the mystique of PoE.
I don't want that.
Like,
I think that
go for it.
there's a way. I feel like there are smart ways they could go about it. They could maybe just establish some kind of rhythm that people are aware of, where they say, okay, look, the first 2 weeks of a league, we're not going to touch anything. Like, go wild, and then break the game, figure it out, and then after those first 2 weeks, we're going to release a proposed patch notes and then say in 1 week, these are the changes we are making, plan accordingly, and we will give you a free respec to all players. Because I mean, it's early access.
Yeah.
So there's not that like I woke up and my build's dead and I have no gold and I can't respec and I have no currency. Like I basically am now set back to 0. If you give people enough of a heads up, and if people are aware of that is the rhythm of what they're going to be doing during early access, then I think it would be okay. But it's just the way they've done it in the past, where it was like, oh, this got nerfed, and then like thousands of people woke up to their build being dead. Whereas if you say, every 2 weeks we are doing a balance pass, and we'll give you 1 week heads up to let you know, either that, or you say after 1 month we're going to start doing balancing. So like the majority of players have played, left, then you've got like the real hardcore people who are just hanging around testing a lot of stuff, and then do balancing from there, even if it's like 2 months in. I don't know why they're digging their heels in. I feel there's a good way they could do it.
I think there's a real issue with having it be completely broken for 2 weeks, because the economy is going to be dead after that, like actually killed by the people that are doing something. Like if there's a degenerate build, then it is going to ruin the economy. You'd need to have a fresh league economy.
Yeah.
And people could opt into at that point, because by that point, everything's dead. It's like when I bounced off Freesia in Path of Exile 1. It's like after the Rogue Exile stuff got going for a weekend or so, and I'm like, oh, okay, yep, this economy's dead. No point coming back. No point even watching what they do, because there is going to be nothing more that's going to be fun in this league. It's all going to be destroyed unless there's a new economy. I'm not interested in it, and I can't see them running a new economy. Just like they didn't even do that with some things that were really, really busted. What I reckon they should do is just commit to, let's have a day 5 patch. The skills that are overperforming but not oppressive will get a -3% to their damage. That's not going to be crushing, but it's going to be felt. Skills that are underperforming but not useless will get +3%. Skills that are complete and utter trash will get +7%. And then do the same thing on day 20 and announce this in advance. Just days 5 and 20. If something's oppressively busted, then maybe there'll be an emergency action before that, like the 3.16 0 mana aura stacker that was emergency patched in Path of Exile 1, where you could run every aura in the game for free. That was patched because bot cheaters were able to use it to beat the Simulacrum AFK. And once you've got bots doing that, then the economy's dead. So they had to fix that immediately. But for things that are less than an emergency, just go, all right, 3% shift downwards, 7% shift upwards. That's the extent of it. That's the most it'll be. Won't be enough for some skills, but it will just make it so that things that feel oppressively good will just get some of the sort of wind taken out of their sails, so they're not so hegemonic.
I think a lot of your ideas You guys are very sensible, but I don't think Grinding Gear Games is going to budge on this at all during early access. I think they've made their opinion really
Mark
well
sounded
known.
different.
He did.
Like Jonathan,
He's
I agree with.
diplomatic.
But actually, Jonathan's walked back a bit from there'll be no nerfs in this Q&A, and Mark was more open to it. So hopefully they've learned something from 020 just being a failure, like lightning spears everywhere. Because if they'd nerfed lightning spear early, or really not buffed it as much, but if they'd nerfed it after it was clear that they made a huge mistake, they probably wouldn't have saved the league, but they might have ended up with twice as many people playing it in week 7.
I wonder if it's all the new toys they're adding, like the lineage support gems and some of like just the new support gems. I wonder if it'll allow for some really busted combinations with all the skills. And like I think Dreamcore, you said there's no way they're gonna be able to test everything, like every skill to end game, right? They're not doing that. There's going to be many busted combinations, and we know the Path of Exile player base is going to figure out what those combinations are. So yeah, it's a really interesting topic, and there's one topic that I know that somebody here probably wants to chat about, maybe to have a debate about. Lolcohol, that's you. So crafting is getting a series of changes this league. They've actually bended on this a little bit. They have added determinism in a way to PoE2 with the essences, with the perfect and greater orbs of crafting. What are your initial thoughts? Do you think this is a net positive? Do you think crafting is going to be more accessible, less accessible? What do you think about this?
I think overall it's a good step in the right direction. It does come down to accessibility though, because in the past there's been systems that looked cool. Like the big one was Omens. When I saw that initially when they announced PoE2, I was like, oh, cool. This crafting system looks really interesting and great. And then it's been, 9 months? I've never seen one of those Omens. They cost like, I don't know, 11 divines. They're unaffordable for most people. So the thing is, are there going to be enough of these crafting things that they're going to be usable, especially during the campaign? If they're common enough, I think it could be really good, especially the unveiling, the desecration mechanic, and the essences. I still think that I'm still of the opinion that we need orbs of scouring, because orbs of scouring are quality of life, because it's I know Sirgog hates them. It's cutting out like just a really annoying step. And then I would also like at least orbs of alteration. I'm starting to see their idea. They don't want to go for like full re-rolling of items with Reforged, and rather like build it up one mod at a time. But Scours fit into that. I don't think Scours undermine that system. And overall, I think it's good changes. But is it going to be accessible? I've been running the campaign now, and even now, I'm still feeling like, dude, the exile drop rate is like 3 times lower than it should be in the campaign, and that's after they buffed it a couple of times. So that makes me a little cautious. Like, are you going to get to the end of the interlude and you found like 3 bones, and you're too scared to use it because they're so rare that or like you're not finding enough essences or the right kind of essence? I'm hopeful though. I am excited about it, but it's not the full system we need. Yeah, I still feel like there's missing puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Sirgog, I'm curious about your hatred of orbs of scouring.
Yeah, like let's get rid of them. Let's not get rid of them in one, but let's swap them with exalts in rarity. So drop the drop rate of scours by a factor of 40, up the drop rate of exalts by a factor of 40, and that I think would be better in one as well. Having played with this is the one thing 2 got right, is just going, okay, scouring orbs just delete a bunch of loot on the ground that is loot in 2 and would not be loot in 1. That said, they've decided to go and do something that is going to delete a lot of loot on the ground, and that is the exceptional bases, the extraordinary bases that are going to drop. So the 21 to 30 quality and the +1 socket. That is going to render a bunch of things that were previously loot into non-loot. So it's kind of like the equivalent of Path of Exile 1. If you could take a keystone that removed the ability for Chaos Orbs to drop, but doubled the chance of Divines to drop, now everyone would take this. It would be mathematically right to take it. But it would be somewhat of a feel bad, because you lose something that's like this frequent you lose the frequent drops that sort of add up, and you pick up a couple extra jackpots. So I think there'd be a bit of that feeling. In terms of the crafting things that are being added, like omens, the omens that can be used in mirror crafting, if something can be used for mirror crafting, this is the same with Path of Exile 1's Hinakora's locks as well. It is only for mirror crafters. And that is a consequence. The reason that you can't afford Omens of Whittling or Sinistral, the left, right, and null omens, the reason for those is that Mirrors of Kalandra exist. If Mirrors of Kalandra went legacy, then immediately all those problems are gone. Those omens stop getting snaffled up. They up their drop rate by 6 times. And even then, all that was, it was just the biggest handout to mirror crafters you could imagine. If they multiplied the drop rate by 6 again, all that would mean is that instead of using 6 times as many omens, the mirror crafters would use 36 times as many omens, and they'd get even better items at the end as a result of it, which would then mean that they have even more hegemony over the market because they could then charge higher mirror fees because it's a bigger gap. So those things, those ultra deterministic top end crafting tools like the new Hinakora's lock, I think we'd probably be better without them. And that's one of those things where they've got to fix up the middle, and I feel like they're doing a bit of that with the new essences. We've got to see the details of them.
Yeah.
The key thing, the essence system will live or die on based on whether there's good resistances, level appropriate resistances can be added. If you can use essences to get level appropriate resistances, that's going to be great. And then you'll feel like you're crafting your own gear, as long as you can get level appropriate resistances you need. If you can't get a level appropriate resist you need because you have the wrong essences drop or whatever, then essences will continue to be disappointing. So we'll see on that one. But I think that the Uber transmutes and the I'm not an Uber transmute, but I'm a fairly good transmute, those two that were added, and also the same for all the other currencies, these are an interesting step in a weird direction. They're making it so that it's basically assemble your own tier 3 unidentified rare, but on the base of your choice. That's essentially what I think these things do. And is that necessarily a good thing? Like, it's sort of replacing something that would have been an exciting drop on the ground, but it's deterministically giving you access to it. So it's kind of just like being able to bias the good drops you're already getting to be the right base, which is kind of useful. I think the perfect ones, though, are going to be not necessarily top power gamer crafting tools, but they're going to be like people who are far along in endgame will be using those. The greater ones are going to be the thing for casual players to not necessarily craft their gear, but gamble on gear in ways where the odds are in your favor. And greater exalts will be a great thing for that. They'll be like, I've got an item, it's already good enough to use. I don't want to exalt bottom rank thorns on it, but I'm going to greater exalt it. And no, I might get something bad. I might get high rank thorns, and I'm not playing a thorns build, so that's a waste of an affix. But at the very least, I'm going to get something that's got a good chance of being good. Lots of ways to improve items, not very many ways to craft them yet.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And you touched on that for casual players. It's going to be such a boon. I agree with that. The amount of times I just playing very casually destroyed a piece of gear by exalting it or like adding an AUG and it was just crap with one other or two other good modifiers. It just feels so bad. So I feel like at least now I'll be able to easily at least get 3 good mods with like a perfect alt. Oh well, go for it. Perfect alt, perfect AUG, essence. Bam, 3 good mods.
Well,
I'm happy.
Is it going to be 3 good mods? This is why I'm saying that having alterations would instantly make essences so much more interesting, because currently the problem is you are prevented from using essences until you have a 2 good mod magic item. You're not going to want to just, even during the campaign, if you find a decent rare item, you can't just slap it with an essence. It has to be magic. So the implication of that is pick up bases, transmute AUG, hope that you get 2 good mods. If you do, essence it. Most of the time you're not, though. I'm talking about the campaign right now. Whereas if you could at least just have like an alteration, then you could say, I'm going to just roll for a couple of good mods.
Is this just a vibe? Is this like a vibe thing then, Lolcohol? Just a difference in like what we like? Because, okay, I totally get what you're saying about that. Do you think this is what GGG thinks too? With alterations, yes, you can do exactly that, probably at a much faster rate, at the sacrifice of doing what I was doing, which is just sit, spam clicking thousands of alts or whatever, right? Versus in PoE2, if you have, these maybe 10 of each, let's say, and 10 different bases, you're probably going to get what you want at that point, maybe, right? But
are we talking about endgame or campaign now?
Ooh, well, endgame, because the perfect stuff isn't going to drop in the campaign. I never alt spam in campaign. Do you alt spam in campaign?
No, not really. But my
Okay.
point is more like those early essences are going to become out of date so quickly because they're adding effectively like tier 9 modifiers. So the point is, when you're finding those, are you also going to be finding enough bases of the type that you need and regularly enough hitting one or two decent modifiers with your transmute and org to justify using that? If you play the campaign now, let's say your weapon is incredibly important, you find a fire essence.
Okay.
How many bases are not super common? You're not often just like finding dozens of the right weapon base type during the campaign. Let's say you find maybe one per zone. What are the odds of hitting, let's say, like fizz damage? And if it's a campaign, you might just settle with just fizz damage, but you're hoping for like fizz damage, attack speed, and then essence. How often is that going to happen versus let's say having an alteration and you just like have one base, ult it a few times, be like, sweet, there's the fizz, now I can essence it. It immediately makes essences just infinitely more usable. And I'm very curious. I would like for you guys to let me know during the campaign if you are using essences, and if you're not, why not? Because I think if you don't end up using them, the reason is going to be a base choke point where you don't have enough bases, or just like the transmutes aren't hitting. But maybe we will. I hope I'm wrong.
I'm less picky than you in the campaign. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, I've got complete trash on my weapon at the moment. Okay, I will.
Yep, me too.
I will go for something that's that's like a previous base. Like if I've got a level 28 Temple Maul, I'll accept whatever. I think it's level 23 as the base before that. I'll accept that. I'll just throw transmutes on them because transmutes are free. I'll augment. If one of them gets midway okay, then that's the one that gets the essence, because essences, like they said that we were regal gated, which was right. We were regal gated in the campaign, and these are going to be additional regals, and they're just going to be regals with no use in endgame, or not even endgame, like no use by the time you outlevel them by 20 levels.
Yeah, I'm like Sirgog. I just pick up stuff. I just use it in the campaign. I'm not picky, right? I'm not looking at bases honestly in the campaign. I'm just looking at
your weapon.
I'm just looking at sheer item upgrades. I haven't played the campaign many times. I'm just looking for my weapon. Yeah,
Weapon is something that's like so important, though.
If damage go up, I equip weapon. That is I don't know how many people think like that. I know, people are picky, people are very exact in PoE, but I literally, in the campaign especially, I just see if like the physical damage goes up, if it has maybe a few more elemental mods on it, I just equip that weapon, whether I'm playing spear build, mace build. I haven't played a bow build, but a quarterstaff, I just pick it up, equip it. In the end game, I then get picky. I get picky with bases, and I'm like, I'm going to use my weapon or my essence on this gothic staff instead of the right. So I do get that.
Sure, in the campaign, I'm pretty sure you just you either gamble a weapon or you get it from the vendor. Like the vendors always have like IPD weapons and stuff like that, so that's almost always going to be better than just using random transmute and whatever on a weapon at that stage. Because the thing is, in the campaign, you don't really hold on to a weapon long enough for you to be that focused on like crafting something good, right? You're just upgrading quite commonly, so. The other gear is different, right? The other gear is different because having a gear with like a good resistance roll might last you for 3 acts or something, right? Because it's just a really good resistance roll. But weapons are different. You're going to be upgrading weapons quite commonly, and you're just gonna you're going to be most of the time it's gambling, because gambling spits out good weapons very commonly. And sometimes it will just be the case that you have enough gold and the vendor just has a weapon that's already good. That happens. I've had that happen a lot, actually. It happens a lot
Often,
more
yeah.
in PoE2, right? Like you get one with IPD plus attack speed, and you're like, damn, that's great. Like it doesn't at that point it doesn't even matter what I regal. It's already good. So yeah.
In that
and
case,
now
yeah,
you've
maybe
got
I'm
an
hyped.
essence which is strictly better than a regal not
Yeah.
strictly better, but generically better.
Generically, yeah, exactly.
And then you use a bone and you got a nice 4-mod item. Maybe I'm overly focused on weapons because if you might feel more inclined to use that on if it's like a resistance essence, you got like a decent amount of life, 1 resistance, give it an essence regal, and that could carry you to maps. If it's got like you chuck in a couple of sockets or something. But I do wonder if something maybe if like the greater essence or the normal essence would be instead something like reforges a normal item into a rare item with 4 mods and this 1 modifier, that might be slightly more usable.
Also, like a tier 1 to 4, like a bottom to middle tier essence in PoE1, where they
but it's like an alchemy. Instead of being a regal, you've got like the low tier one could be like a regal, and then the other one's
that's what, like the PoE1.
Alk. Yeah,
like
yeah.
PoE1 bottom tier elks, yeah.
Yes, right, exactly. Where it has to be on a normal. Something like that would be good. I'm not like doomer about the crafting. I'm just curious. It always feels like there's choke points and like frustrating things, whether it be a base or an exalt or a regal or a currency item. There's something always getting in the way of like being able to get those. But I think the more systems they add, like with the unveiling and hopefully with the essences, you should at least be getting not serviceable, like decent enough gear that you're feeling you're not just like at the mercy of vendors or your alchemies or
Honestly,
drops.
man, you struck on it when you first started talking. I think availability is going to be the biggest thing, right? Of all this stuff, of the bones, of the new crafting orbs. I think they got to get that right, or it will feel bad to a lot of people, especially just like the essences. I hope they buffed like the rates of those appearing a little bit in the campaign. You know,
They're pretty common right now.
Are
They're
they?
actually
Are
pretty
you
common.
running?
Yeah.
Okay.
You find several.
Oh, okay.
Like
you find
4
several
at
like
the moment?
Did they say
4 and
when
no,
they,
it's more than that. Way more than that. That's something you find like 2 in one zone, I think.
when they talked about the new currency orbs, like the the upgraded versions, did they say that the new ones replace the old ones at higher level content, or do they just get adding to the pool?
They're partially replacing it. So
Okay, so you'll get less of the lower ones, and
yeah. Did you play in
okay.
Theory 1 when 316 hit Scourge or not?
I was playing it.
Yeah, so you remember how they made fusing orbs in level 83 content? They were 60% rarer, but they dropped as stacks of 1, 2, 3, or 4 at random.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's going to be like that, except instead of getting 2 or 3, you might get a greater, and instead of getting a stack of 4, you might get a perfect or whatever. Like the numbers will be weird, but then basically remove some of the base ones and replace them, but with a much smaller number.
Yeah, I was just thinking like more so. Obviously, you're going to want like the smaller currency for if you do a reroll or something like that. I just wonder if like transmutes, for example, do they ever have a use like later on when you have the upgraded versions
Maps.
of it in like a character progression?
Maps.
Yeah,
Maps, yeah.
Weak maps.
Or waystones.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I think that's probably it. I don't think you'd ever use it on actual bases, but
we'll
find out. Huh?
Yeah, the new perfect ones. Hopefully those aren't too uncommon because it's minimum modifier level 70, which is very often just tier 2 and tier 1, which you could then maybe feed into the recombinator.
I feel like that's going to be so rare. I just get the impression like that is going to be so rare.
Note that they're not all 70 either. That 70 is the
some of them
ones.
were 50, right?
The magic ones are 70. The ones that affect rare items are 50.
If
the chaos and the exalt were 50, I think.
If the output is rare, it's 50. So that includes regals because they apply to magics.
Yeah.
And if the output is magic, then it's 70. That's my belief.
Yeah, that's what we've seen.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably have Perfect Chaos will be and Perfect Exalt will be quite rare, but like they're meant to be something that you don't use without thought. There's kind of not really a comparison in Path of Exile 1 because these days everything that's more common than divines really just falls off in value really quickly. Maybe, you know how like you put a bit of thought into where do I use my GCPs, where do I use my Glassblowers Baubles early in Path of Exile 1.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be sort of like that, but 7 times later. So, you know, the way that you would on day 2, the way that you would ration your GCPs, it'll be like that in week 2 with your perfect exalts, I reckon. They could also end up being a major trading currency too.
Great comparison.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Like people
Is
just
it gonna be
ditch
useful?
exalts for like the perfect exalts. That just becomes the norm to trade with.
Well, exalts are gone as a currency anyway. Like that
Yeah.
happened without like they are very useful early on, just like alchemy orbs
Yeah.
are in 1.
Now, there's another topic in here that I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on. I'm really excited for it. It's the change to Pinnacle boss access. Now it's just splinter cost instead of the full token, and depending on how hard you want the boss to be, and I believe the different drops that you'd like it to have, you just pay a certain number of splinters. Now, of course, we're going to get a lot more splinters, which very exciting, but I think it's going to be a net positive change overall, just for people who want to be able to actually encounter this stuff and not feel bad that they're not selling their audience with a king or whatever. Do you guys see any negative repercussions to this, or almost a purely positive change? Because I find it hard to think about repercussions for most players. Sirgog is
like
anti-splinters.
No, I want to be clear that I'm apprehensive, not
Okay.
negative.
Okay.
So maybe if you guys want to go first, I feel like I've been hogging a bit, but
So the thing that that I like about this change
Okay.
is that you will be able to access the first boss much sooner.
Yep.
Which I think makes sense from a pure progression standpoint of your character. It makes sense that you fight that, because how it was before was like by the time you got to that first boss, your character was already very strong, and the first boss was pretty trivial, right? So I think that it should feel a little bit better in terms of like that curve, that progression curve, that when you actually fight that first boss, it feels a bit more challenging. That's what I think they want to go for with that. And obviously, the whole idea of like the bosses dropping different things or whatever, their rewards being tied to the amount of splinters you're actually spending to access that fight is good as well. But yeah, that's what I'm most interested in. Being able to access the fight earlier is really good.
Completely agree on that. It's like another checkpoint in your character's journey. Being able to encounter that far earlier, that's going to feel great, from my perspective, at least.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much all I got on that.
Yeah.
Like, I just think
we're
being
swarming
able to
you,
access
Gog.
it earlier is nice.
Well, why are you apprehensive? What's going on here? Come on.
yeah, so I agree with Dreamcore on the positives of this, and I think that they're very real, and I kind of like it, but I have some concerns about it. And that is, what if the mathematically best way in a trade league is to just always do the lowest difficulty? If they get the loot tables wrong on these, which is quite likely because a lot of the items that have been best have actually been ones that have dropped from lower tier ones. If you go back to 010, the best item in the game, Ingenuity, drops from King of the Mist 0. The second best item in the game, Howler, it drops from difficulty 0 Zesht. And actually, you diluted the loot pool, albeit it was slightly better on tier 4 because there was some demand for the other items, but the chance of getting the best items in the game actually decreased. Now, what's going to happen if it turns out that Ingenuity is one of the best items in the game again? Which probably isn't, but it's still reasonable. But let's just imagine that it was the best item in the game again, and it came from King of the Mist 0. Well, suddenly, who's going to run King of the Mist 4 ever, or whatever they call it now? The best thing you can do is to use a smaller number of splinters to run it at level 0, and then use some of your leftover splinters to run it again. And there's this thing where the whole sharing of the access tokens is just causes this problem that they addressed it one way in the past. It caused problems. They've addressed it another way now, but ultimately, I feel like there's going to just be this there's going to be a feels bad no matter which way it ends up turning out. I think it's probably better overall than what we had in the 0-2-0 status quo, but even then, I'm not certain.
What if you just made the drop odds multiply? Let's say it's like 50 splinters for the first tier, 100 for the second, 200 for the third. You could say ingenuity is more common for the higher tier than the multiplication of splinters. Does that make sense? So let's say like,
what you're saying.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
essentially,
it's like a
like-
balancing thing.
yeah, you get a multiplier on the chance for it to drop. That would be an interesting approach.
So
that requires
way,
giving up on always getting a unique from a boss, though.
oh, is that currently the case? So you always
Yeah.
get. Oh, okay. Well, shit.
I'm okay with that, but it would annoy some people to beat. You know, like it kind of feels bad when you fight the Black Star in Path of Exile 1 and you do
Yeah.
it pretty boost and then, oh, look,
Nothing.
8 rare items and a stack of gold.
Or your loot filter doesn't even show it, and you're just like, wait.
And that's
Did you
a
drop
hard
this stuff?
fight, okay? That's a tough one. All right.
That one,
It's a
yeah.
fun fight.
It's
It's
a
one
fun
of my
fight.
favorite fights.
Yeah,
One.
it's really
I
good.
do think Sirgog's right on this though, because there is the case where, and this is always going to be a thing where, like let's say the middle one, like tier 2, has the meta unique that everyone's using, right? So that is going to be like giga farmed, and people want to get all of the corruptions and all that stuff on it, right? So people are just going to farm it like crazy. I think that is there's not really a good way they can avoid that. I think overall, like, there's always going to be a perceived best item from this boss. That's just in any league, in any given league, right? Yeah. It might be that it appears on the highest version of that boss. It might be that it appears on the lowest version, but it's going to happen in every league. There's like a perceived best drop, because it's just like that's how the meta works out. There's going to be something that's very good. A lot of people are gravitating towards it. They're playing it, and it requires this unique.
Just the most undersupplied, because sometimes the objectively best item, like the best item from the Shaper, is Shaper's Touch. That includes both Shaper and Uber Shaper in Path of Exile 1, but it's basically free. Even with good corruption, it's only a few divines, because its drop rate is 50%.
Yeah. Perhaps they could do it so that they keep the guaranteed drop, but the percentages, the drop rates change, right? So you have, like, in the first boss encounter, you have the really common item. It's like 50-60%. By the time you get up to the final tier, that drop rate is shrunk right down to like 10%, and the other ones have increased, right? You could potentially do that. You actually just change the drop rates as you sort of go up, but it doesn't really matter what you do with those drop rates, because ultimately, like I said, there's still going to be an item. There's just going to be an item that's like perceived. This is the I'm going to go into this boss fight to farm this item because I want to drop that item. It's worth the most money. I can corrupt it, and then maybe it's an absolute jackpot at that point. So, yeah.
How do you guys think they're handling Arbiter? It's obviously 2 difficulties now. There's Arbiter and Uber Arbiter. Do you think Uber Arbiter is going to have new mechanics? Like, is the fight going to be edited? Are we going to see like 3 beams coming out of him? Or, because that seemed a little cryptic. I don't know if it's just going to be a sheer number tweak. Maybe it'll get a few new drops too. You think they're going ambitious with it? Or just big number?
Will it get new mechanics? That's interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Or just, maybe, what happens with
like
Uber
the same
XR.
mechanics, but like, like
Uber
multiplied
XR.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you could have the beam that comes into the circle coming in from multiple angles.
Yeah.
Something
More,
like that.
more balls and everything. Yeah, I think that'd be
I feel
amazing.
like it's just going to be like harder in terms of
Harder.
damage. Maybe I don't think there's going to be extra mechanics, but there might be.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's extra mechanics. And we're also getting a new pinnacle, which is cool. They've hinted at it. They hinted at it in the reveal video, but they actually gave the name on the release page. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's called the Vessel of Kulamak. That is the new boss. I love this
league mechanic, by the way. I've been wanting a league like this for so long, where it's just layers, where you've got the initial mechanic, which is like the thing you find in maps, and then there's like the logbook, which is the mechanic but bigger. But they've done that, but they've gone a couple of steps further, where there's like abyss. You just stumble upon abysses, and then sometimes there'll be like an underground abyss, and then sometimes you'll find bosses at the end of that, and then that leads to like another boss. There's like layers upon layers with this mechanic, and I think we've been missing that with PoE 1 leagues for a couple of years, really, where it really felt like one-dimensional. But now, you remember like Synthesis was just so
Yeah.
detailed, and there's all this stuff, and there were bosses to find, and then we went from that to like Scourge. It's like
100%
double
true.
monsters.
Right?
So I'm
They
really
always
excited
were
for
like
that.
scrap per time or something. You're what, like Crucible. Crucible's another good one where it had the
yeah.
Forge of the Titans, and you feel like that could have been such a cooler area, or could have had a boss fight or something, but it's just, this predetermined layout leading to the Forge, and that's it. You're totally right.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to talk about too, this mechanic, not only does it have layers, but it also intentionally interacts with other leagues. What Jonathan said is something he does a lot. Bro, what are you talking? That is not
like
something that
this.
happens. Yeah, that does not happen. Like, people
No.
combine mechanics together, that in ways that weren't intended. This is literally like, no, a rogue exile is absorbed up by the pit, and it spits out this new monster with special modifiers and loot. Like, come on. That's so cool.
It can only drop it if it's affected by Abyss. They've never done that.
No.
They've never done that, where it's like you only have like a Shaped Touched Exile can only drop this. Super cool. I'm so stoked for the league mechanic itself.
Yeah, Delirium had elements of it in PoE 1, but like it was just that it's more that they made it interact in slight ways with existing mechanics, like letting you have a bunch of pausing of the clock based upon how difficult the mechanic was likely to be with the Delirium. But this is a level up from that. At least if they get it, at least if they execute what they've talked about.
Right.
Yeah, it's very, very cool design with it kind of merging with other mechanics.
Okay. It's got a simple question, guys. How quickly will they revert the Well of Souls to not be like it is, where you have to unveil something? You got to go to an area. You got to hand the item to the weird creature. The weird creature crawls down, disappears for a few seconds, crawls back up, and then lets you unveil. Will that be reverted, or will it exist in PoE 2?
I feel like the solution is super obvious, right? Like you just have that in your hideout, like the thing. Maybe even after you beat the pinnacle, it goes to your hideout, and then there it is, or whatever. Or maybe even just sooner than that, you can just get it there.
Are they gonna patch that though? Is it gonna be like a week 1 metamorph fix?
So quickly.
It's pretty
fun.
Here's the thing, right? They literally just added like right click unveiling in PoE 1. So this is just.
It's so funny.
We've been there and done that. This is what I'm saying, guys.
It's not a one-time thing. It's not a one-time thing.
Every podcast I bring this up, right? They're relearning the same things again.
It's not a one-time thing. I asked you, because I'm like, dude, literally, why you do this? And he's like, well, it's just one loading screen. And I'm like, Jonathan, man, oh my god, no, bro, you don't get it.
It is. It's cool. It's cool for a once-off, but after that, it is gonna just be super annoying. And it gets like the feeling of like, oh, guys, look at this cool thing we made. Like, appreciate it, and it is cool, but I'm gonna hate it after the first time I see it.
It's cool to do once. It should be forced once, and then after that, you don't need to go through this rubbish. And ultimately, I think it's going to be the most demanded emergency patch, unless the entire server is on fire. And even then, it might be the most demanded emergency patch.
In no way.
It's not even.
This is not spreadsheet gaming. This is not spreadsheet game. This is like not even close to spreadsheet gaming, guys. Come on.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not even like that on launch. Like they realize, wait, there's no way. People are gonna rage. And then we just get it. It's like, now you can just right-click the thing to unveil it. There you go.
I don't think they'll go that far. I think it's going to be an NPC in the hideout. I think it's going to be an NPC. Like the Abyss NPC. I forget the dude's name, but there's a guy. I don't think they'll do the full QOL. I am excited, though, not to throw my items in there. I'm excited to jump down in that pit. That's something cool and thematic that should happen on screen every time. I love that your character like goes like, oh man, whoa, that's a deep hole. Well, let's jump right in. That's a cool entrance to a boss fight.
That's cool. Yeah. I agree with that.
It's gonna be good.
I hope the boss is epic.
Me too.
It does depend on how many times they expect us to fight this boss, though, because I haven't done it for a long time, but there are things in PoE 1 where you can fight the Uber Searing Exarch literally 500 times in a day. There are people who do this. And could you imagine having something like this? Like, people complain about the Shaper Oubliette phases in PoE1. That's what this is going to feel like. It'll be like Shaper Oubliettes after a while. It won't be like that the first 10 times because Shaper Oubliette was still cool on the 10th time. But by the 50th, it was, oh God, not again.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Unless it's actually just covering a loading screen. So instead of seeing the loading screen window, it just shows you a guy like jump, pop down.
I mean, I feel like this is the same thing again with, like, you see the animation the first time with the crafting, right? And then you get in your hideout again with it. This will be the same. Like, then you can then go on your atlas and place it in a designated slot. It's called like the Well of Souls. You can actually see it on the atlas. Place it in there. Open the device. Done.
I'm gonna be a stubborn ass about this one. I think it's cool. Stay on there. If you're doing the Vessel of Kulmak 500 times, this is your punishment. Okay, this is it. This is what you get.
I think
it is the case that friction on boss fights is something.
Oh no. No. Did I lose internet? Am I still streaming? Oh, did Discord go down? Discord went down. Oh, it was Discord. I thought I lost internet. Heck yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's back. And you're in the right places. Okay. Sirgog, you were saying friction in boss fights, and then Discord tried to kill you.
Yeah, friction in boss fights is annoying, right? But it's also the reason that Shaper and Uber Shaper tend to be the most valuable, most profitable bosses in Path of Exile 1, because the fastest players in the game say, I am not interested in doing this boss because I can't do it in 40 seconds like I can with Uber Exarch. Uber Shaper, I don't think anyone has managed to do it more than about 25 times in an hour, no matter what your level of optimization is. And so that means that the fastest players aren't doing as many, which means it ends up that there's less of this, because of the friction. It's more lucrative actually on a per hour basis. Right. So, like, I'm not advocating friction here, but it is something that does have some benefits.
No, that makes sense. Okay, guys, before I have my final fun question for you guys, is there any other topics you wanted to come over? We've been going for about 2 hours and 10 minutes here. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up about the patch? Anything specific? Any of the big ideas? Anybody? Shaking heads.
I'm just so excited. I was really scared that after blasting in PoE1 for like 2 months straight and doing really speedy, zoomy content, that going back to PoE2 would feel bad. But I played it yesterday. It felt so good. Just that change of pace felt really, really good. Still think movement speed could be bumped up a little bit, but for anyone worried that it's going to feel super slow, it doesn't. It feels really, really good.
Awesome. Yeah,
a good change of pace.
I'm excited to hop back into it too, because I had some stuff that made me bounce from Dawn, but I'm ready to go in for the Third Edict. It's going to be really fun. I took 1 day off work. Let's go. It's going to be a fun day. Really good day. Okay, before we get into that last question, you guys, I just wanted to let everybody watching the VOD or in the chat know, we actually already have the next episode of this scheduled. You won't have to wait 2.5 months for another. We're going to do one 2 weeks after the launch of the Third Edict on September 13th. That is a Saturday at the same time. More suffering. That's totally fine for me. I'm good with it. But before we close out this pod for the day, I thought it would be fun. All of you, I want to go around. If you could use one word to describe the Third Edict, what would you use? One word. No shenanigans. Let's start with...
I go first.
Oh, Dreamcore. Go for it.
Deadeye.
I think he might win. Holy crap. Okay, Lolcohol looks like he's thinking. Sirgog.
Thinking.
Yeah, well, I did think about this already because you had put it around in the notes, but my one is hopeful. Hopeful is not saying that I'm convinced it's going to be everything I want it to be, but that I'm hopeful that it will be, and that I think that that's a realistic hope, not that it's a sort of reaching for the stars.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I love that. Lolcohol, you are still thinking, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right, I have one. I'll let you think. You can close it up.
Right.
Okay, my one word. Fisting. That
Bro.
Can
You're like
can
entering
we
it.
keep this to a PG level?
it is as
Trey?
PG.
Holy.
He was calling them the fist builds. I'm thinking of all the YouTube
Punch monk.
thumbnails. Okay. Oh, the punch monk. That's it. Okay, I'm still
That's
going.
it.
I'm still going with fisting. So the local. It's
I
like
was going to use that earlier when we were talking about Hollow Palm, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep it to my usual Australian M-rated self,
good.
like at least on
That's-
YouTube.
I've been feeling really spicy ever since I sent Lolcohol that banana gif. Right.
That GIF was
I-
insane.
My wife got upset at me actually because I told her this is probably the worst thing I've ever done on the internet. Check it out, and she's like, "Oh my god, what? What did you do? This is
It was
crazy! I can't
so
believe this is public."
unexpected.
I'm like, "Yeah, look, it has like a few thousand views. Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh.
You having like your Gavin Newsom arc on Twitter. Like, and I'm loving it.
Thank you for your attention on this matter. Okay, Lolcohol.
Refreshing, revitalizing.
Well,
I think this could be a new hope for PoE2. Hopefully the Doomers don't try and drag other people down, but I think a lot of people are going to have way more fun than they think they are this league. Just don't obsess over every tiny negative thing and just like ruin the game before it comes out. A lot of people do that. They like nitpick and hyper focus on the negatives, and then they go in game and that's all they see. And yeah, like don't ruin the game for yourself before it even comes out. Give it a fair shot.
Yeah, go in with an open mind. If it's not fun, let everybody know. If it is fun, I mean, be happy. Just enjoy yourself. Play for as long as you'd like. And if you don't enjoy it, guys, guess what? 2 months from now, another Path of Exile 1 League. How awesome is that? We're not going to have to wait 11 and a half months again, right? It's going to be October 100%. Okay.
Surely.
Well, go for it, Dreamcore. Log in.
I just said surely. Surely it's going to be
I thought you said log
in
in.
October. I think it will be in October. I think they're sticking to it this time.
They are. It might be October 31st. Halloween. Let's go. Halloween release. It'll be in October. I don't know. I've actually got to check. Whatever the last Friday in October.
That would mean
is.
they miss October from my perspective because that'd be
True.
1st of November.
True. And from their perspective. So it can't be October 31st, actually.
It is a Friday.
Oh my god. It might actually be October 31st.
Yeah, confirmed to the 24th then.
Yep.
24th American, 25th for May.
Yep.
Because they're going to want to have PoE2 in the light a bit longer in the cycle. But they're also, the December release is going to have to be in the first half of the month.
Yeah.
You got a calendar open. When are the Fridays in December? What's
5th, 12th, 19th, 26th.
they're going to want the 12th. December 12th is the launch for 040.
That's when Druid is coming. Let's go.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Furries rise up.
Oh my god. This is a PG-13 podcast, okay? Come on. Go. None of that. Okay, well, thank you guys so much, and thank you everyone in the live chat and watching the VOD right now on YouTube. Make sure you go check out all of these guys' channels, both on YouTube and Twitch. They're all great. All the links will be below. Make sure you check out all the content we're going to have on Mobalytics for this release. I'm sure everyone here is going to post their builds. There might be some guides, perhaps on crafting, maybe some of the new league mechanics, the boss fights. All that will be on there, tagged with all of these folks' lovely names. Do I have anything else that I'd like to sign off with? I don't think so. Just once again, thanks everybody, and we'll see you in the next one in about 3 weeks once the Third Edict launches. See you later. Let's all wave very oddly to the camera as it fades out into view. There we go. Okay. You guys all have interesting waves. Okay. That's where I'll cut it. Thank you guys so much. That was fun. My cat is going. Thank you.
Yeah, nice chat. I need to head off, but
all
yeah,
right,
awesome
bye,
chat.
Dream. I do in a little bit too. So yeah, I'll chat with you all in a
Cheers,
little
guys.
bit. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Dream. Good.
You guys have a great day. All right. I hear my
You
kids.
too.
My kids rolling around.
Yeah.
So you doing patch note video number 2? Look, Sirgog, not Lolcohol.
Right. So sorry.
I was working on it, but it's not
ready.
It's not finished, and I have commitments through a lot of tomorrow. So
okay, that's fine.
I mean, it's going to be like when I get home tomorrow night, I'll probably try and finish it and then just do a really low effort editing job. But the first draft of the first half of it is actually pretty bad. It's like it's rough in a few places. It needs cuts. I won't be as picky as I normally am, but there are definitely bits that need to go.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to it. So will a lot of people in my Discord. A lot of people like to link your videos, Sirgog. They're like, the patch note breakdown I've been waiting for this entire time.
It's gonna be a weird. I'm actually splitting it in a weird way as well.
Okay.
Like it's instead of being the first third, the second third, and the third third, it's gonna be like basically if you split it into sextants, it's gonna be first and second in the first one. The second video is going to be 4 and 5, and then the third video is going to be 3 and 6. Because there's a bunch of stuff in the middle of the patch notes that kind of needs the context of the skills to go through.
Right. They were long patch notes. It was like 18,000 words or something.
Yeah,
like it was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Big.
Yeah.
Big. Exciting. Well, thank you guys. I'll chat with you later. I hope all your launches go well if I don't like actually talk to you in voice until then. Yeah. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for hopping on this Saturday/Sunday.
Cheers, guys.
All right. See you guys. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right, chat. W or L? Did you guys have a good time? Did you like that? A jum. I wonder why Lolcohol said a jum. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if I'll do my little reminders right now. First, if you're not following any of us on Twitch, follow us on Twitch right now. Click the little button. We do those podcasts, consistently. And if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and hit your sub notification bell. Lots of videos on this channel, guys. Plus, if you want to join the Discord that I just talked about, I should probably do a little Discord thing in here, because I haven't plugged Discord in literally 3 months. So I have a pretty active Discord. There's a lot of people talking about Path of Exile 2 there. I don't ping you constantly. So if you want to join and chat with some people who like PoE2, you can go in there. There's also some haters, but they're haters that are pretty sensible. And I think they have good takes most of the time. All right, we'll chat for a little bit, and then I'm going to head off because I can hear my kids running all around. Put on some calm music. Academic Q, thanks for the T1, bro. I appreciate it. I saw that there were a few subs. Miso Shiru, thank you for the raid, man. Welcome in all the raiders if you're still here. Appreciate it. Perkiro, thanks for the prime. And Big D PoE, thanks for the raid with 2 viewers. What a name. Big D PoE. That is some fisting energy, isn't it, guys? That was great, thanks. Oh, okay. Yeah, appreciate it. Sirgog and Lolcohol look different. I know, they changed. They just completely changed, didn't they? Wow, that was an early wake up. Whoo boy. I am going to have a day today, you guys. Don't you worry. Okay. Fry, do you have an LFG channel or guild? Yes. Yes. We have a guild. We have a guild with 130 members, I think. It's still open. If you guys would like to join, we're still inviting people. It was pretty active. This patch is indeed cooking. It's super cooking, guys. Yeah, I woke up at 4 a.m. That is correct. Those types of comments coming from you are my favorite. Yep. Yeah, my wife is not the biggest fan of those comments, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll just keep them between you and I. Okay, also, by the way, guys, this right here is the model I was talking about. Guys, what is this? Her hair? Just her entire thing. Look at how low quality that model is. Guys, this is the merchant NPC. Guys, holy crap. Like, all the other NPCs look incredible. All the character models, all the monsters, and then it's like low res. Look how low res they are, guys. This has to be intentional. Look at the seagull. Look at the seagull 2 feet away from her. It looks way better than her. What is going on? Like, this is a game where everything is beautiful, and then we have freaking that, which is just crazy. The hair is a literal blob. What do you mean it's ultra res? What are you talking about? Her model is low res. There is no way. What are you talking about, bro? That is blurry. It came from PoE 1. Show one other character that's better. Literally anything in the trailer is better. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, one character that's better. Okay. There you go. There's one character that's better. That's in game. Okay, all those characters better. Every single one of them. Him, her, him. All better. All these guys. And they're closer to the camera. Better, 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 better. Yeah. What do you mean that's a trailer character? This whole thing is a trailer. All better. Better, 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 better. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. All these guys better. Literally. No, it's not a pre-rendered cutscene. What are you talking about? This is in-game. This is not pre-rendered. They do all these cutscenes in-game, dudes. The statues are better. Literally, the statues are better. Here, we'll get in-game in a second, and I'll freeze frame on the player character. Okay? All better. All the monsters, all the player characters. Look at these models. The models in PoE2. Better. There. Okay. Literally all these guys. Massive quality. Also, his graphics appear to be updated. Also, I didn't realize that was a shark, guys. That's a land shark. How cool is that? Wait. Wait a second. What the heck was that? Was he putting the... He's putting charged staff on his fists? Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. He is! Oh my god! I literally thought that was a quarterstaff. That's not a... Am I like missing the quarterstaff? Dude, that's how I know it's Hollow Palm. I didn't realize you could. I know all quarterstaff skills. That is so cool. Holy crap, man! How can you not go Hollow Palm technique, guys? Some of these bosses look sick. Also, this looks like Oriath. Are we literally... This isn't an interlude. Are we going to go to Act 5? That's King's March, obviously. Man, how is this act going to end, you guys? Oh, how is this act going to end? One sec, I need to let my kitty out. Oh... Okay. The Hadouken Monk. Also, the art for these lineage supports is sick. Look at that art. Holy, guys, this is glazing session here. Oh, it's just beautiful. Absolutely pristine. Look at the high quality art models. Do you want me to go back to the hideout NPC? Okay. This is what the hideout NPC looks like, by the way. Right here. Like Groost. She looks literally like Groost. Look at the player characters. Look at these models, how high quality they are. Look at the Nabakatazala, whatever her name is. They need to fix this. They need to fix this. This is ashamed. For shame, GGG. Even this, even seeing her here, she looks so out of place. Like the colors are flat compared to the PC. I know I'm making a big deal out of it. She's goated. She's low res. She's blurry compared to the rest of the game. I'm being pedantic. Oh, did you see that little icon right there? You see that? Return to ship. Is this like the waypoint system? What is return to ship? Like when you finish one of these islands, you just click return to ship and you can TP to the ship? That's pretty cool. Yeah, she's probably not finished. I know, I'm being silly, guys. That's cool. I know Act 4 has a ship, but that's cool that there's a little feature where you can return to the ship. Man, I'm so excited for next week, you guys. We've got 6 days left, guys. 6 days. Isn't that so exciting? Oh my god. I can't, guys. I can't get over it. She look. Am I sad? No, Druid. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm glad they confirmed it for 0.4. But of course, I'm sad it's not in this update. I'm excited for all the other new characters, though. It looks... all the new... Basically everything. Like, they've completely changed all the character customization and stuff. Reap looks pretty sweet, too. Was wondering what made you dislike Last Epoch? Yeah, I tried to play it again this season. I literally got to the third area. I put everything on Ultra. It just looked really bad. It just plays a little clunkily. I'm playing WASD in Last Epoch as well. I don't know, guys. It just doesn't click with me. I don't know. I understand the appeal of the game. I know a lot of you guys really like it. And I just have limited time right now. You know, if I was doing this full time, I'd 100% give it a better shot. But I have such limited time. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's the same with PoE 1. If I was doing this full time, I'd probably play PoE 1. But I have very limited time in my day. I just don't enjoy it as much as playing like PoE 2, playing some Age of Mythology, maybe playing a little bit of Guild Wars 2 with my wife, trying out new games like the Moonbeast game. I actually really liked the Moonbeast game. That was really fun. But it just doesn't vibe with me. That's it. Yeah, these storms look crazy. Look at the FPS drops from these computers. I know, WASD in Last Epoch isn't great. I know. Yeah, like Diablo 4, I'll probably play the new expansion, you know, just to give it a go for the story. But beyond that, you know, nothing else. Man, I'm so excited to try all these new areas. And play with the passive skill tree. Yeah, and it's less nodes you have to allocate here. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, I don't know what hardware. I mean, I'd assume they would record it with the max size PC or the best PC they have available. But they definitely start to lag a little bit. They're probably playing in 4K. But you can tell it definitely drops. Oh, Sanctum, man. What's going on, dude? I got up at 4 a.m. today. Yeah, I'm going unarmed monk. Sorry. Sorry, dudes. Also, all the new base types. It'll be interesting to see what they have there. There's over 50 new base types. I wonder if any of them are really interesting. You just bought a 5090? Man. I'm on a 4090 with PoE. Is a 5090 an upgrade or should I wait for a 6090? Because I could buy a 5090. You know, one big thing with my card is it runs really hot and it just gets so loud when I play games, especially PoE 2. I hate that. Just wait for 6090? Okay. I would wait. 5090 is buggy. It's very AI heavy, right? The AI improvements. Undervolt it, man. Underclock it a little. Man, I wish I was smart. I wish I was smart. Oh, look at how good Hollow Palm looks, you guys. Hollow Palm Ice Strike looks ridiculous. I think I'm going to play Hollow Palm Ice Strike. Guys. See, I didn't play Ice Strike in 0.1, so it technically would be a new build. MSI Afterburner and watch a YouTube tutorial. It's the simplest thing. Okay. I use OLED, yes. I have an OLED 4K monitor. Repaste your 4090 and underlock it. I'm genuinely excited for Deadeye. I haven't played a Deadeye yet. Hollow Palm's going to be 50% of league starters. Sir Can, dude, you're totally right. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to give it a go. Look, right there. Isn't that the Arbiter ability? On a rare mob. I'm 100% going Warrior League start. Definitely going to be a stronger class than its 0.1 and 0.2 versions. Wow, it's Frosty. A lot of people disagree with you, but I say wait it out. I say wait it out. I guess no PoE2 racers in the chat. Sag, biggest change in the entire patch is the ability to use alternate arts or demigods. You can use them. Hollow Palm, Smithic Atava. Why use gear? I have a Gigabyte 4090. Hollow Palm, Smithic Atava. That's actually something that I was going to that I was thinking about. Look at the passive stance too, you guys. Look at that. Badass. I love it. Deadeye is going to enable a lot of skills. Oh, man. Purple Flame, Succubus, Chaos, Dot Ignite. Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm really excited, guys. I can't wait. I hope the vibes are good. I really hope there's no, like, server issues. I think server or performance issues would be one of the things that could hurt the launch pretty badly, especially because it's going to be a free weekend. So I'm really hoping everything's good to go. The ball should be insta-kill. They reused the rolling ball boss from PoE1. True. I hope that they fix that little animation issue. Last launch servers were horrible. Yeah. Yeah, EU servers especially. Free weekend is a tell they're sure the patch is good. Yeah. I think they know what they've got here. I think server issues are going to be the thing that can screw them over. Want to play Chrono this season? Yeah, Chrono looks like it's in a rough place. See, this is so cool in concept. I just think being infinite. I don't like the infinity. I think this is cool, but it should be. You can't make it finite, I guess, with the way that this is going. I don't know. It's really tough. Like, I like all the different random encounters and the fact that you're traversing this thing, but it's just going on forever. And you can't, like, have a static atlas for a league. Could you? Could you just make an atlas with this art style that's static? I don't know. But then all the random encounters, like, like the look. I guess you could, with the citadels on the map and one of each map type and everything, you know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do in 0.4. It will. I've got faith in them to make it work. But I'm just very anti it right now. This boss seems pretty sweet. He's basically Duresso with more budget from PoE1. Try if you run Deadeye this league, you won't be able to go back to other classes. They all feel sluggish. I think I will be able to. Art style doesn't fit at all. Guys, they're asset reusing quite a bit. Like, they're the kings of that. I think they change it just enough, though, to make it feel better. Or feel okay. Atlas seeds for the first few screens. I don't know if the randomness is the problem. I think it's the infinity that's the problem. Personally, I know that's not everybody agrees with that. Yeah, this is all pretty hype, guys. This is all super exciting. Super exciting stuff. Oh, there's so many new bosses. Oh. When it's infinite, it feels like there's no end goal. Yeah. I think Hollow Palm is 15 points out from the beginning of the Monk. About 15 points out. So you'll be able to hit it relatively fast. Oh, look at that. Like, subscribe, notification. I meant to turn that off. Oops. All right. Show Booba Boss. You'll be able to see the Booba Boss as much as you'd like soon enough. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. The Booba Boss will be there for you. The Booba Boss will be there for you. Alrighty, Exiles. Let's see. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to throw y'all on over to Cyclone. He's playing Path of Exile 2. Thank you all so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, you guys, on YouTube, on Twitch. Make sure if you want to see more of the stuff, like the channel, follow the channel, all that jazz. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow morning on all the stuff that's coming in the future that was confirmed and glossed over by a lot of people. We have some big confirmations straight from Jonathan from some interviews that only have like 4,000 views, which is crazy. So that's coming out tomorrow morning. I'm going to work on that at some point today. For now, though, if you want to watch the VOD of this whole podcast, it's going to be up on my channel in about an hour's time, or you can just watch this entire stream. Again, thank you all so much for the follows, the subs, the donations. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be streaming again on Tuesday when we have Miso Shiro joining the Still Sane podcast. And the day after that, Darth Microtransaction joins the pod as well. It's going to be super fun, you guys, because then Friday we have the big release. I still don't know what I'm league starting as, so it's going to be a good time. Hope you all have a good day, good morning, whatever. It is 8:47 a.m. here, and I'm going to go play with my daughters. And hopefully my wife is all good. Because I hope I didn't wake her up too early, because I'm pretty loud. Anyway, have a great day. Have fun as always, and stay sane, my fellow exiles.